உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் welcome. I welcome you on this great day to ATEA's Women's Day Conference hosted by Pennsylvania Delaware Chapter. Happy International Women's Month. I am Hema Velankani Raj, one of the coordinators for this event. I'm an associate director at IQVIA, leading one of the big data technologies. I'm an investor and a top agent at Keller Williams Exton. It's been a great month working towards this event and a great pleasure working with Jayshree Satya, who's one of the other coordinators, Malini Das, core committee members, youth committee members, and members from other chapters. Thank you for attending, and just like you, I'm all fired up to listen and to get motivated by keynote speeches and panels and learn networking skills, pitching, and know about investment opportunities. Let us start with US National Anthem sung by Priscilla Raj, followed by Indian National Anthem sung by Divya Durai Raj.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
जनगण मन अतिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे दव शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे दव जय गाता जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I want to start this event by reciting a Thirukural. Aruvinai enva ulavu, karuviyan kalam arindu sen. The one who utilizes all resources and opportunities at hand is an efficient entrepreneur, and nothing is impossible to achieve for them. Speakers we have here during this event have challenged themselves, balanced their life and work, given back to the community, and now they are here to talk about entrepreneurship, its challenges, and how to come out of it with flying colors. I still remember the day we started brainstorming for this event. Myself and Jayshree with a bunch of young women and teenagers around us, and we were all looking for ideas. And one curious young woman, she looked into our eyes and asked, "What is your motto?" With that said, I would now like to call upon Mr. Velankani Raj Mahime Raj to come on stage and welcome us and tell us what ATEA is about. Raj currently serves as a core executive committee member of ATEA Pennsylvania Delaware chapter. He is an executive office bearer and volunteer in 6 different registered nonprofit organizations in the United States. He's always the go-to guy for anyone in the society for any kind of help. a successful realtor, and a real estate investor. Raj, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Hema. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to welcome all of you for this ATEA Women's Day conference. And of course, it is going to be participated by everybody. And I wish you all a very fruitful and a very learning, productive day. With that, I will just share my screen. Yes. All right. What are we? ATEA, American Tamil Entrepreneurs Association. We are a registered nonprofit organization in the United States of America. We create a platform for exchanging business ideas, seeking mentorship, investments, making connections, and creating an atmosphere for entrepreneurial thinking among Americans of Tamil origin and other Indian diaspora. We do have several chapters in the United States of America. Some of them are listed here. We have Silicon Valley chapter, we have Northeast chapter, we have Pennsylvania, Delaware Valley chapter, we have Midwest chapter, and we are tending to open other chapters as well. We will not restrict our activities just to serve the Tamil community, but we will expand to serve the Indian diaspora in the United States of America. Our vision and our mission is to link, learn, and lead. We want to provide opportunities for networking with successful entrepreneurs. We want to provide a platform for learning and educational opportunities in entrepreneurship, innovation, ideation, validation, and fundraising. We want our members to take the lead to become successful entrepreneurs. Besides just promoting entrepreneurship, we also practice giving. Whenever there's a need in the community, we do fundraising and we contribute generously towards the betterments of humanity as well. We do have memberships. People are welcome to become registered memberships of the association. However, because we are non-profit registered organization, anybody can participate at any time. There is an individual membership, there is a student membership, startup membership, corporate membership, and we do welcome sponsorships as well. And as you know, sponsorships are tax deductible. We organize regular programs just like this one. We organize workshops, hackathons, startup pitches, conferences, youth programs, and we strongly encourage youth entrepreneurs. And more specifically today, being Women's Day celebration, we honor and we welcome women-specific entrepreneurship as well. We thank our sponsors and we welcome our partners, and I'm happy to welcome all of you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Raj. That was really helpful to know about ATEA and all the services rendered by ATEA. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Mahendran Sundarajan on stage. Mahendran is one of the core committee members nationwide and also a founder and coordinator of ATEA Pennsylvania Delaware chapter. He's a co-founder of Extracurriculum, an online learning company, and an active Salesforce CRM community member. Mahendran is currently serving as a treasurer for TagDevi Board of Trustees. He volunteers for many nonprofit organizations. Welcome, Mahendran.
Thank you, Hema.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you, and we wish you good luck for this Women's Day event.
Thank you for all your support towards this event, Mahendran.
Thank you. Can you come again?
I'm just curious to know, how did ATEA Pennsylvania Delaware chapter start? Any story behind?
Yeah, I would like to just share. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay, so basically, the ATA activity started around 2017. So I was volunteering for a FETNA Tamil convention event, which happened in 2016 in New Jersey. That's when the seeds for ATA has been sown. And we had a fantastic event, taking back the memories from the FETNA event. And the learnings from New Jersey. We just started a humble beginning at October 7, 2017. The ATA Pennsylvania Delaware chapter was officially launched on October 7th. So there was we did like close to 8 to 10 events in the last 3 years, and there's a lot of participation in the people around Pennsylvania and Delaware. So thank you for all the ATA folks who encourage us to start this chapter. And we are it's really one way of doing a service and fostering entrepreneurship in this area. And it's a great inspiration from ATA New Jersey chapter team, and also from Silicon Valley. They inspired us to start this chapter in Pennsylvania, Delaware area.
That's really interesting to know, Mahendran, and how a creative idea sparked a fire. It's really interesting to know. Can you tell us about your committee members and the
Sure.
events organized by your team?
Sure. This ATA Pennsylvania Delaware chapter would not be possible without an army of volunteers. We have like fantastic people around, and everyone in this slide, I would like to say some of the names like Velankani Raj, Dayanand Kuselan, Suresh Mani, Joseph Vedam, Leopal, Senthil Namasivayam, Kartik Radhakrishnan, Vishwanath, Buyan, Hema, Jyotsna, Malini, Prem Challaturai, Srinivasan, Basko. Everyone have contributed a lot for our events in the past, and they lead this event. Some of the events, each one take turns, and they lead these things. And our team is very flat structure, and we don't really have any hierarchies or anything. So we all join together and bring up some great events. And I take this opportunity to thank all our core committee members of Pennsylvania Delaware chapter.
Thank you so much, Mahendran, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, Hema.
Thank you. Now we would like to thank our sponsors, Usha Krishna Kumar, New York Life Insurance, Deepa Sudhakar, Copy Ready, Philadelphians, Hema and Velankani Raj, Keller Williams Real Estate Exton. Here we are now with a much awaited section, keynote speeches. Our first speaker has substantial experience in dealing with many of the challenges the governments face. She has significant leadership experience managing complex organizations during times of fiscal challenge. With further no delay, I will call Ms. Niveda Kanwar on stage to introduce our first keynote speaker, Honorable Dr. Valerie Arkush, Chairwoman, Board of Commissioners. Niveda Kanwar is a graduate from Temple University and a data scientist at Eurofins. She is well-rounded, talented young women who had actively participated and led many Tamil Sangam and corporate events.
I have the privilege and the honor to welcome and introduce Honorable Chairwoman Dr. Valerie Arkush. Dr. Arkush is a parent of three, a physician, health policy expert, and community leader who was appointed a Montgomery County Commissioner on January 29, 2015, and was elected to a full 4-year term on November 3rd, 2015, and re-elected on November 5th, 2019. She has served as chair of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners since November 2016. A practicing obstetric anesthesiologist for over 2 decades, most recently at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania, she has put the health and well-being of her community and local families first. As Commission Chair, Dr. Arkush oversees a budget of $430 million and directs more than 2,500 employees. Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, Dr. Arkush has a degree in economics from Northwestern University and attended medical school at the University of Nebraska College of Medicine. She moved to Philadelphia in 1986 for residency training at Jefferson Medical College. Dr. Arkush served as chair of the Department of Anesthesiology at Drexel University College of Medicine from 1999 to 2004. Dr. Arkush earned a master's degree in public health from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health with a concentration in health policy, giving her the tools to increase her impact outside of the exam room. Through her many local and national leadership positions, Dr. Arkush has been a tireless advocate for fair and equitable treatment of all people. Dr. Arkush lives in Springfield Township, Montgomery County, with her husband, Jeff Harbison, and her 3 children. I'm extremely excited to introduce Dr. Arkush again and welcome her to deliver the keynote address. I give you Dr. Arkush.
Thank you, Raj, so much. And I see, Navita, you made it. Thank you. And I'm just so grateful to have been invited to join you all this morning for this wonderful, wonderful event. It is inspiring to see so many women gathered here on a Saturday morning for what I am sure will be a very informative conference. Your mission to educate, empower, elevate, and expand entrepreneurs, no matter the stage of their business, remains more important than ever as our economy recovers from the impacts of COVID-19. We know that women-owned businesses are the cornerstones of our local, national, and global economies. Here's a few statistics that highlight this. 40% of US businesses are women-owned. 64% of new women-owned businesses were started by women of color last year. There are 114% more women entrepreneurs today than there were 20 years ago. And companies founded by women outperformed companies founded by men by 63% in first round capital's portfolio. These numbers are impressive. The work that you do every day to support your business, your family, and your communities is truly commendable. That's why I'm so proud to be here with you today as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. While we've certainly made progress, we acknowledge that there is still a lot more to do. It has been a tough year for everyone. However, women, specifically women of color, have been impacted disproportionately by job losses and other economic impacts from the coronavirus pandemic. Female workforce participation has dropped to 57%, the lowest level since 1988, according to the National Women's Law Center. And recent projections modeled by McKinsey and Oxford Economics estimate that employment for women may not recover to pre-pandemic levels until 2024, 2 full years after the recovery is predicted for men. News like this is hard to hear, but I'm here to tell you that we are seeing signs of progress and a return to normalcy in our region. COVID-19 has hit our local and global economies hard, but we're optimistic that our economy will return stronger thanks to the resilience and determination of business owners like all of you here today. I believe the most important thing that we as government leaders can do to support you is to continue to listen to you and to understand what you need and create programs and policies that help your businesses thrive. One of the ways that we've led that charge here in Montgomery County is through our Monco Strong grant program. Montgomery County has provided approximately $26 million in grants to small businesses and nonprofits for COVID-19 relief since last April. In the second and third round of the business grant program, along with the restaurant grant program at the start of 2021, at least 30% of grants have gone to minority and/or women-owned businesses. Currently, we are accepting applications for the Monco Strong 2021 Pennsylvania Hospitality Industry Recovery Program, a state-funded grant program legislated to provide COVID-19 relief to hotels and restaurants. You can learn more about that by visiting montcopa.org/PAHIRP. And for those of you located outside of Montgomery County, but here in Pennsylvania, this is a statewide program. So I encourage you to check with your county commerce department for more information. Another positive note is that the American Rescue Plan passed by Congress a couple weeks ago will provide $161 million in much needed relief to our county to allow us to continue to mitigate COVID-19 and its negative economic impacts. That means continuing to provide assistance to families, small businesses, and nonprofits in need of recovery assistance. As a government, we can also lead by example as a model employer for women. Over the past few years, Montgomery County has implemented paid parental leave for the birth, adoption, or fostering of a child, and mandated that all of our employees are paid a living wage of at least $15 an hour. We're currently hiring a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion at the highest level of county government to help us further refine and improve our policies in this area. As the first woman to chair the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, I am extremely proud of the progress that we've made in these areas. We as women must continue to empower each other and build each other up whenever we can, which is why I commend all of you for being here today to learn more about all of the resources that are available to you to continue to grow your business. As entrepreneurs, you've taken the leap to launch enterprises to support your customers, your family, your community, and our economy. I know it isn't easy, especially right now, but rest assured our community is stronger because of your contributions. I want to thank you all again for having me, and I look forward to seeing all of the amazing businesses that you have started in our region continue to grow and thrive. This past year has brought us challenges on so many different levels, but we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, and we will get through this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that amazing keynote address, Dr. Irakush. I just have a couple fireside chat questions for you. I'm just going to start. Dr. Irakush, as a young girl, what were your dreams and how did you steer towards realizing these dreams?
Well, from a very young age, I wanted to be a doctor. And that was because when I was about 6 years old, I had a little scare with a medical problem that turned out not to be a big deal at all. But those doctors were so helpful to me and my family. And I decided that I wanted to grow up and be a doctor that would help other families as well. There were a lot of challenges along the way. There was still very few medicine in women when I was growing up. Even my own mom was skeptical. She didn't think anyone would want to marry me, and she was worried she would never have grandchildren. But it did not turn out that way, happily, and it all worked out in the end. But as I'm sure you all know, it was a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that answer. It was very enlightening. Commissioner Irakush, what challenges did you have to overcome in your path to success?
Well, first, one of the challenges was just skepticism of me as a woman and whether or not I would be able to be up to the task of getting through college and medical school and practicing as a physician. Also, when I was becoming a physician, there was still a very old sort of stigma against women. Many people said or thought that women would go through all that training and then get married, have children, and stop practicing. So I had to spend a lot of time assuring people that I was really serious about this and that I was committed and that I was going to get it done. Even since then, it has been always a difficult balance between caring for my family and my children and also meeting all my professional obligations, both as a physician and now that I stepped into public service as a county commissioner. But if you get enough people to help you, you can get it done.
It takes a village. Yeah.
It absolutely takes a village.
I have one more question for you. Chairwoman Arkush, what skills and qualities do you think are important for women to become a powerful leader?
Well, I think there's some advantages that we have as women, and I don't think we take advantage of them as often as we should. One is that by nature, women are collaborative. And I have found over the years that that really is the best way to get things done. Not to tell people what to do, but collaborate with them. You get a much better product, whether it's for your business or whether your team is trying to get a project done, when you collaborate. And women do that naturally, much better than men. So I think we should take advantage of that and be proud of that. The second thing is many women have high degrees of empathy. We are able to listen to someone, understand where they're coming from, imagine ourselves in their shoes, and as a leader in business, you can find ways to motivate people more easily because you can kind of understand where they're coming from. You can meet them where they're at and really try to connect with them and help them do their job as well as possible. And then the third thing I would share is something that I think women need to work on. Women tend to not ask for what they really want or negotiate higher salaries. And I think that's extremely important. There have been many studies that have found that women tend to accept the first salary that they're offered. Men never do that. So whatever salary you're offered, you should thank them and turn right around and say, actually, I was expecting to get this number. And that number should be higher than you think might be possible, but you never know. You might get that number if they really want to hire you, or they might lower it a little bit, but you're going to end up better off than you were. And so many studies have shown that women don't do that. They don't stand up. We don't stand up for our own self-worth and ask for what we believe we are worth. So I would encourage women to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the rousing keynote address and the Q&A session, Dr. Arkush. It was a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a real honor to join you this morning. Have a great day.
Thank you, Niveda and Dr. Arkush. Thank you, Dr. Arkush, for letting us know the impact of pandemic on colored women and how the government has plans to help all of us. Our next speaker, thank you. Our next speaker is a lifelong advocate for people in need, an attorney, trauma nurse, and an educator. I will call Ms. Patricia Raj on stage to introduce our next keynote speaker, Honorable State Senator Maria Collette. Patricia is a junior at U Sciences and a VP of Student Government Body. She has got great leadership skills.
Long advocate for people in need. She began her career as an attorney representing the interests of children victimized by abuse and neglect as Deputy Attorney General in Camden County, New Jersey. She then transitioned to a career in nursing, where she worked at the bedside as a Level 1 trauma nurse, in pediatric home health, and in long-term care working with aging adults. From a young age, the values of hard work, integrity, and humility were instilled in Maria by her Greek immigrant father, who came to the United States to earn a PhD in economics, and by her mother, who rose from a disadvantaged childhood to become the first member of her family to graduate from college. Maria has a BA in English Literature from the University of Maryland at College Park, a JD from Rutgers University School of Law, and BSN from Drexel University. As a senator, Maria is committed to making sure Pennsylvanians have clean, safe drinking water and access to quality, affordable health care. Once again, I'm extremely happy to welcome and introduce Honorable State Senator Maria Collette to you this morning to deliver her keynote address. Senator Maria Collette, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Patricia, and thank you to the Pennsylvania-Delaware chapter of ATEA for the honor of inviting me to speak today at your 2021 Women's Conference. And it is truly my honor to speak to such a diverse and accomplished group of women from around the United States and the world. As you heard, my name is Maria Collette, and I am the state senator for Pennsylvania's 12th senatorial district, and I represent parts of Bucks and Montgomery counties in the southeastern part of our state. And I'm proud to represent a racially and socioeconomically diverse district that includes one of the largest Hindu populations in the state, as well as one of the largest AAPI populations. And you've heard a little bit about my background, but I want to reiterate how proud I am to be the daughter of parents who both valued and understood the positive impact that education could have in life. My father emigrated to the United States from Greece to earn a PhD at the University of Buffalo, and there he met my mother, who was an undergraduate student. She had earned a scholarship as her high school valedictorian to become the first and only person in her immediate family to go to college. I was born in Athens, Greece, and my family returned to the US when I was about 4 years old to give my brother and I the greatest opportunities to reach our fullest potential. I went on to earn a Juris Doctor from Rutgers Law School in Camden, New Jersey, and then worked as a Deputy Attorney General for the state of New Jersey, representing one of the most heavily litigated counties in matters related to child abuse and neglect. In that role, I witnessed firsthand the challenges that our states and court systems face when trying to protect children and families, as well as the many challenges that families face that lead them to court in the first place. My experience as a trial lawyer showed me that my professional victories almost always resulted in children being torn from the only families they knew, and sometimes institutional care in the foster care system didn't serve them better. I knew that I needed to find a career that let me do better. And ultimately, I realized that my calling was more closely aligned with the helping professions of social work, mental health advocacy, and nursing. So I decided to leave the practice of law and go back to school and earn my bachelor's degree in nursing. I'll be honest with all of you, up until 2016, I hadn't given much thought to running for elected office. I've certainly lived my entire professional life with the values of serving the people of my community and improving people's lives. But it took the events of 2016 to make me realize that those same skills and my unique perspective could benefit my community in an even bigger way. I began looking into the people who were making decisions and advocating for my family and my neighbors in Harrisburg, and I no longer thought they represented who we were. In the course of my predecessor's 40-year tenure, our community had changed in so many ways, yet the votes he was taking in our legislature didn't seem to reflect those changes. So I decided in 2017 that I would run for the state Senate. As a lawyer and as a nurse, I was used to advocating for people to ensure that they received the best services possible. And as a senator, I'm able to do this by intervening on their behalf with state agencies, as well as through introducing legislation and working with the administration and my colleagues to improve policies. This process is not without challenges, some of which can be attributed to partisanship, but others, I think, can be attributed to that old boys club mentality and the resistance new voices and new ideas often face when they come to the table, something that I'm sure you as women in leadership can relate to. Today in Pennsylvania, we have 14 women in the state Senate and 59 in the state House. We now have women leaders in both chambers. We also have 4 women in the U.S. House of Representatives. These numbers are all improvements from even 4 years ago, but there is still plenty of room for us to improve. Pennsylvania has never elected a woman to the U.S. Senate, and we've had very few women hold statewide elected office, only 11 across history. And we are still faring very poorly when it comes to electing women of color. Across all state legislatures, women of color represent approximately 25% of female legislators and 7.5% of all legislators. But here in Pennsylvania, we don't have any women of color in the Senate and only 10 in the House. And what we've learned from the pandemic and this past year about the importance of women at all levels of our economy, from low-wage workers to high-powered executives, is that women's issues are economic issues. We need to focus more on the infrastructure of care, invest in childcare and senior care the same way that we build roads and bridges. This not only puts more women back to work in those care jobs, it allows other women who've taken on those responsibilities at home to return to the workforce. That's why I've sponsored legislation like the Family Care Act and the Patient Safety Act, and worked with my colleagues to drive federal stimulus dollars to local small businesses, particularly women and minority-owned, and childcare businesses. And I'm looking forward to continuing to push an economic recovery model that doesn't ignore the disparate effect that this pandemic has had on women. That's just one of the reasons that it's so important to have women and women from different backgrounds at the table. Research shows us that women legislators are more likely to introduce legislation that specifically benefits women. They're better at bringing funding back to their home districts, and a woman legislator on average passed twice as many bills as a male legislator in one recent session of Congress. Thank you again for inviting me to speak here today. I'm sure that among this group of current leaders and achievers, we have future township supervisors, county commissioners, district attorneys, and senators. The sky is the limit for us as women. The task-focused, solution-oriented, and above all, empathic perspectives that we bring to the table play a key role in the progress of our Commonwealth, our nation, and our world, and the world that we'll leave to our children and future generations. I know you're all busy, believe me, I do, but I encourage you, if you have opinions about what's working and what isn't in your community, don't be shy. Let your voices be heard. I would love your company at the table. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Maria Collette. And thank you for being a lifelong advocate for people in need and all your plans for the betterment of our community. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us.
America, the country with the most entrepreneurs, home to companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, and Tesla, successful companies that have brought amazing innovation to the modern world. The American Tamil Entrepreneur Association, or ATEA, is home to those Tamil professionals who have left their homes behind and migrated here and found success as entrepreneurs and leaders in technology. Founded in the year 2016 by experienced entrepreneurs from San Francisco and New York, ATEA transcends national boundaries to bring together Tamil professionals from all over the world. ATEA has been conducting workshops and seminars that have informed and advised entrepreneurs in various fields about early investment, emerging technologies, technical know-how, and mentoring. ATEA has many programs that assist entrepreneurs in every stage of their journey. Entrepreneurs can leverage ATEA's deep ecosystem of CXOs, SMEs, VCs, academics, and corporate executives. Another major initiative by the American Tamil Entrepreneur Association is the Digital Accelerator Program. Digital Accelerator helps entrepreneurs connect with venture capitalists and seasoned professionals who offer expert technical advice. You could even qualify for a startup grant offered by the government of Tamil Nadu. Join us as we come together as proud Tamilians from all over the world and march together towards a common goal. If you are a Tamil entrepreneur anywhere in the world, contact the American Tamil Entrepreneur Association by email at contact@ateausa.org or visit us at www.ateausa.org.
I'm Usha Krishnakumar, a senior partner with New York Life Insurance Company here in the New Jersey General Office. What can I say? I love every minute of my job. We like to refer to ourselves as the NILIC family. We all like to work hard, have fun, and support each other's successes. If you're interested in being part of my team and the NILIC family, then I would love to hear from you.
Our next keynote speaker is a doctorate who used her talents and intelligence to give back to the community. I will now call upon Bridget Joseph to introduce Dr. Pramila Srinivasan. Bridget Joseph is a sophomore at University of Pittsburgh and a service chair of South Asian Student Association. She's a past Tamil school student and participated in many Tamil Sangam events. Bridget, the stage is all yours.
Good morning. My name is Bridget Joseph, and I am a sophomore undergraduate student at the University of Pittsburgh studying neuroscience and sociology, and I also serve as the service chair of the Pitt South Asian Student Association, also known as SASA. I am happy to introduce one of the chief guests here today, Dr. Pramila Srinivasan. Dr. Srinivasan received her doctorate in electrical and computer engineering from Purdue University. Her specialty included algorithms for multimedia data analysis and classification. After a brief tenure at a few startup companies in Silicon Valley, developing algorithms for multimedia systems, she pivoted to launch a free, cloud-based platform for patients and caregivers managing chronic health conditions. In 2007, she founded Medical Mind Incorporated to apply cutting-edge technological advancements to facilitate data analysis and efficient management of physician practices, and charmhealth.com was launched. Electronic health records and patient engagement are the cornerstones of the platform used by independent clinics worldwide. In 2019, Dr. Srinivasan founded a nonprofit, the Brain Foundation, to catalyze and raise funds for research in brain disorders and neurodevelopmental conditions. Today, the Brain Foundation hosts an annual conference, Synchrony, to showcase medical research and industry innovations in this area. Over 10 research institutions in the US receive funds every year to support basic and translational research. Her goal is to accelerate the pace of research, innovation, and investment, and to enable a robust pipeline of effective therapeutics for kids and adults affected by these conditions. And now I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Pramila Srinivasan. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Richard. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we could now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. It is my pleasure to be part of this conference today. I would like to share some lessons with the audience, and my talk is entitled 10 Lessons. My first lesson is to take it 1 year at a time. This is my journey. In 1997, we moved to the Bay Area after my PhD, and I worked for a couple of startups, and then my son was born. I know that in some families, both parents work full-time outside the home and kids do just fine, but mine was not to be so. So I decided to spend more time with my son and quit my day job. I started homeschooling my son. And in 2008, we launched a site to help patients track medical treatments and outcomes. That was called charmtracker.com. In 2010, there was a request from physician offices to develop something like that for physician practices. And so charmhealth.com was born. It's an electronic health record, patient engagement, and practice management solution for independent clinics, currently used by hundreds of medical clinics worldwide. It's a growing marketplace with an ecosystem and hosts new business models, devices, insurance technologies, decision support, telehealth solutions, and so on. So this takes me to lesson 1 year at a time. When I started my career, if someone had told me that I would have to quit my job and start a nonprofit and then a company, it would have been completely overwhelming. But this is why I think it's a good lesson to be learned. Take it 1 year at a time, because things change all the time. Lesson 2, for all women, a rigorous education helps. As a woman, a solid education and lifelong learning helps open doors, and credentials do help. I know that this is just my opinion, and some people would suggest that as an entrepreneur, it's okay to disrupt your education and start a company. But I think that as a woman, credentials help, and a solid education helps as well. And a few years don't make a big difference. Lesson 3 for employees and entrepreneurs, a depth-first approach to competence is important. This is from the front page of my PhD thesis. Through my research years, I've learned more and more about less and less, and in the limit, I know an infinite amount about nothing. Okay, jokes aside, it is important to invest the time to develop depth in some domain. Rather than a broad list of tools on the resume, it is more important to demonstrate depth in a particular area. Take some topic that you're passionate about. Do courses, do projects, read the research, and show that you can take an idea and implement it and delve into it until you can make a difference. And that is important. So this takes me to lesson 4. For all women, a gap is okay. What do you do if you have to take a gap year? Say you have to raise a kid or deliver a baby or anything else in the family, it's okay to take gaps. During the gaps, take courses online, work on projects, and enjoy time with the family. It's also possible to work for nonprofits. So that way you contribute your time to a cause that you're passionate about, learn something in the process, maybe change your career, and do something that is interesting to you. Another important lesson, lesson 5, is to cultivate financial intelligence. At every level, at your home, at the workplace, as an entrepreneur, cultivate financial intelligence. It's really important to understand how to prioritize putting food on the table, which means paying your bills and meeting your payroll, and then how to transition to building wealth. The classic rich dad, poor dad wisdom. And understand that with wealth comes responsibility. This lesson 6 is for entrepreneurs. At some point, when you would like to start up, the question arises, would you bootstrap or raise funds? If you have savings, it works for some business models to bootstrap. Otherwise, raising funds becomes the necessary next step. So it is important to learn from successful entrepreneurs, attend pitch events, go to events and see how startups present their pitches and how decisions are made and how investment is made. Coming to that topic, I wanted to let you know that we have a charmhealthchallenge.com. We have an innovation challenge coming up. This will be attended by some really remarkable, innovative companies in the health tech space. So this is a good resource if you would like to look into pitches and how startups are funded. We have actually invited a really good set of investors and speakers. And some of the areas of investment from our vantage point as an electronic health record company, we see are in telehealth. As you all have noticed in the recent pandemic, this has risen to prominence, and the telehealth is a growth opportunity right now, and it is here to stay, and it has enabled several new business models. Subscription-based chronic disease management, AI, NLP, virtual reality, health tech analytics, wearables, billing, fintech are all areas of investment and growth today in the area of health technologies. We are also going to be featuring a panel of women entrepreneurs and women venture capitalists. This is the reason I even brought this up, because we have excellent speakers and role models who are women and entrepreneurs in this space and venture capitalists who will be speaking. Other resources, if you are an entrepreneur, this organization, of course, is a great supporter of women entrepreneurs with mentorship, accelerator, events, and so on. I wanted to introduce another organization, NAE3.org. It is founded by a close friend of mine, recently launched NAE3 Futures Fund to support female founders and gender diverse teams. The website to learn more is nae3futuresfund.com if you'd like to look into something like that. That takes me to the next level. Once the product is ready for sale, it is important to make your first few sales yourself. If you have to carry your booth and stand by yourself in a trade show, so be it. You will learn a lot. This is a lesson that I learned from our early days. Another lesson that I would like to share is at some point it is important to give back to our community, our local community, our community at large. So we founded the Brain Foundation in 2019. The mission is to catalyze research in neurodevelopmental disorders, and we fund about 1 million in research every year to find treatments to help those with seizures, autism, intellectual disabilities, etc. This is an area that is not funded sufficiently. We have a series of drugs for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and so on, and it has not happened yet for neurodevelopmental disorders. And these disorders affect the youngest in our population, the kids. So we host a multi-day research conference, Synchrony, with the top research institutions presenting their work. And at the end of the year, we receive grant proposals and fund the best research to accelerate the pace of drug discovery. We also have an industry track to connect startups in this space with new drugs in the pipeline, with investors and funding options. So here are some glimpses of the conference. It's a 3-day conference with roundtables, presentations, and so on. So Synchrony 2020 had 7 exciting days of conference with basic research, animal models, immunology, neurometabolic studies, microbiome, GI research, therapeutics, and clinical trials. If anybody is interested in volunteering or interested in contributing, please get in touch with one of us at the Brain Foundation. Lesson 9 is be a doer. Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something done, ask a woman. And I think this is true. The statistics do not look great. Only 8% of all Fortune 500 companies are led by women. Women only make up 47% of all employed adults in the US. But as of 2015, they hold only 25% of computing roles. Ratio of men to women in engineering is 5:1. And almost 5% of venture capitalists in the US are women. And only 2.8% of funding last year went to women-led startups. And half of all startups have no women in their executive team. That looks grim, but actually we have hope. We stand on the shoulders of some amazing women. The question isn't who's going to let me, it is who's going to stop me. This is from Ayn Rand. We deliver babies, we raise kids, we work, we put food on the table, we organize, build, cure, climb mountains, we run companies. Lesson 10, all major efforts start with a small step. We can make a difference. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Pramila. And thanks for letting us know about the lessons that we should follow and be passionate about what we do. I really love the quote which you said, if you want something done, ask a woman. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now I call Mr. Prakash Narayan, ATEA Core Committee member from Silicon Valley, to join us and talk about Digital Accelerator Program. Prakash, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Hema. This has been a really awesome conference, and I look forward to the rest of the event. So I wanted to talk a little bit about ATEA's Digital Accelerator Program. We heard in the introductory video that was just played before this, where the notion of the Digital Accelerator was introduced. And do you see my slide there? Yeah, I can see it. So the Digital Accelerator is it's basically a streamlined program that assists entrepreneurs in every stage of the journey. So what we do is we leverage ATEA's deep ecosystem of CXOs, subject matter experts, VCs, academics, and corporate executives. So we have this rich ecosystem, and we leverage that to allow startups to get mentored, to seek guidance, get funded, and receive grants from government agencies. So if you're a startup, you can apply at dax.ateausa.org. And we just concluded the first cohort that we started in Q4 calendar year 2020, where over 75 companies applied from multiple industries, including health tech, electric vehicles, IoT, blockchain, the entire gamut, right? So, and we basically shortlisted about 16 companies from the 75 that applied, and we basically used the criteria, including the target market, the client segment, the problems that were identified by these companies, the unique value proposition. So we basically used these criteria to shortlist from the 75 that applied, and we shortlisted 16 companies. And finally, we selected 9 companies to present to a deal flow committee. The deal flow committee comprised of investors with a combined portfolio of over $250 million. And these were the 9 companies that presented on the deal flow event that took place in early Jan of 2021. And the next cohort is coming up in April. So this is for the Q1 2021. So the next cohort is full. The second cohort is full. So we encourage all of you to apply for the third cohort in dax.ateausa.org. So I wanted to talk about Digital Accelerator. Back to you, Hema. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prakash. That was really helpful to know about the Digital Accelerator Program and all the companies that has joined the program. That's a great success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we are here for the Celebrate panel. Every day is a great day to celebrate the amazing women in our life. Women are the real architects of society. As Michelle Obama mentioned, there's no limit to what women can accomplish. Here we have a group of successful women entrepreneurs who have come together to tell us how important it is to pause and celebrate the achievements. I welcome Priya Karthik to moderate the Celebrate panel. Priya Karthik is an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, certified professional coach who has helped 2,000 plus clients to accelerate their success. She has a career as an engineer with a management background and works across geographies, providing unique experiences in transforming people from varied age groups and ethnicities. She believes in giving back to the community through her outreach projects and creating the leaders for better tomorrow. Priya, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Hema, for the beautiful introduction. I'm looking forward to the event. Okay, let's start. And yes, good morning, all. Looking forward to meeting you. Here we are, following what the great poet and the legend initiated quite 100 years ago. It was an era when women empowerment or feminism did not even exist. I'm talking none other than the great poet Mahakavi Bharatiyar, who was one of the pioneers to celebrate women. And that is what the panel is all about. Thank you, each and every one of you, for investing your Saturday afternoon with us. And you are about to listen to a thought-provoking panel discussion. I'm sure each and every one of you listening now will walk away with a new idea, a fresh perspective, or any new strategy that you can apply to be more successful in your career or business. But before we dive in to the panelist introductions, I do want to mention that we do welcome your questions, and please post them, and we would see to it that we are able to handle those questions as well. Okay, great. Let's get started. I'm going to invite three phenomenal women leaders who not only accomplished great things, but also inspiring many, many more, just like all of us around them. So let me begin with Kavipriya Anandan, is the leadership and branding professional, the founder and chairman of Adding Smiles Private Limited. She is CSR's initiative expert and author, humanitarian, classical dancer, and acknowledged filmmaker. She is the recipient of the Young Visionary Award by CNBC International TV channel and the Best Social Entrepreneur Award by Anna University. As a classical dancer, she believes in the healing effects of soulful art. Kavipriya has danced for children diagnosed with cancer and cerebral palsy through her initiative called Adding Happiness. We are delighted to welcome you, Kavipriya, to our panel.
Kavipriya is joining in a second. Can we go to the next panelist?
Yes, of course. So our second panelist is Dr. Dakshayani Balakrishnan, is a member of Tamil Nadu State Women's Commission, a government organization that protects the welfare of women and children. She is currently the head of institutional sales for Avon Cycles in Ludhiana and has supplied close to 500,000 bicycles through government tenders. The former director of the pharma company that manufactures BCG vaccines and supplied 200 million doses to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Daksha received her doctorate from the University of Madras. She is also an active Rotarian and the district director of international service. Lastly, a women cricketer and a pilot trainee of the Madras Flying Club and a devoted mother of two children who are settled in US and the UK. It is a pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Dakshayani, to our panel today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our third panelist, none other than Purnima Ramaswamy, the Executive Vice President of Global Solutions and Partners at Click, an artificial intelligence and data analytics expert with more than 22 years of experience as a senior executive. Purnima leads a multidisciplinary team to provide a solution-led approach to address digital and data needs for large enterprise customers. She advises on improving revenue goals and driving business process efficiencies. Purnima is also part of Click's Harvard Customer Advisory Group and one of the top 50 most powerful women in tech selected by the National Diversity Council. We are so delighted to welcome you for the panel today, Purnima.
Very happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Great. We have, I believe, Kavipriya would be joining very soon. And in the meantime, we are just going to go ahead with the panel discussion. So welcome you. And I am excited that we are going to have a beautiful discussion and get the maximum all about celebrating women. So let me first start off with the name of the panel itself, celebrate. Why do you think it is important to pause and celebrate? Purnima?
Sure. I think we have been in, as women and men, we continue to run hard and fast every day. We spend about, I'd say at least about 60 to 65% of our time just getting things done, putting food on the table, working hard, doing our best, that we miss those opportunities to pause and reflect on how far we've come and enjoy the moment before we actually start running fast again, right? So I think it's important to, and I've noticed this especially with women, we pause and think about what we've not accomplished and what we've not done and what more we need to do, rather than pause and reflect on saying how far we've come and how much we've accomplished. So I think it's important for us to start disciplining ourselves and putting that into practice, to pause and reflect on the good moments and the victories.
Absolutely. I think it is very, very important. And Daksha, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, Priya. Celebration, I feel, is to happen all the time. Because I come from a background where my parents are both having a science background. So we were told all the time, if you get up in the morning and you're able to see, you got to celebrate. If you can hear, you celebrate. If you can taste the coffee, you celebrate. So you celebrate all the time and maybe take time off to reflect, to make the little changes that you could have done or you may have done it differently. So my take on this is, don't pause to celebrate all the time.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I think I'm going to do that right from this moment onwards. Thank you for that. And in that, just a follow up on that, to both of you, if it would be great if you can share some unforgettable, any kind of memory that you have that you were experiencing in the process of celebration, some unforgettable celebration that you can share. We would love to enjoy hearing through that.
That's a brilliant question. Shall I start off?
Yeah. Yes, Daksha, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to start off with this unforgettable moment. When we co-founded, I have a partner. So when I co-founded the pharma business, we needed the raw material. So to source the raw material, Google was God and MSN Messenger was the great platform to communicate. I'm talking about the end of 90s and the beginning of 2000, the millennial. And I had sent out messages all across the globe. And I only heard from Korea, Denmark, and US. So I packed my baggage to land in the US. And this raw material, the master seed lots, and Vista Institute in Philadelphia, the business development officer responded. So when I came to know that the mumps, measles, rubella vaccine, which I was scouting for, the rubella vaccine, the inventor was advisor of Vista Institute. I wanted to meet and talk to him. But I was told by the MD and the business development officer that Professor Stanley Plotkin meets only with the scientists. So I didn't want to let this go. So I said, can I just talk to him, meet and greet, because I'm going to take the vaccine that he invented. So they said, give me a 2-minute slot. But as you would like to hear, the conversation went on for 20 minutes. So they asked later in the end, you gave a 2 minutes to her, and why did you go on to 20 minutes? He said, these are moments that we need to celebrate. Someone coming from a developing nation wants to get into the space of preventive medicine, something like vaccine. And I am so enthralled that a woman entrepreneur is wanting to talk to me about this. So you see, he taught me that we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate. And it was such an unforgettable moment because after 3 years, Vista Institute put up a vaccine center, and I was there to meet him in flesh and blood. So this was my unforgettable moment, meeting the inventor of the rubella vaccine.
Yeah, that was really beautiful experience, and I think you put it in a very great way. Thank you very much, Daksha. And Purnima, over to you. If you can share something quick on any kind of celebration that you want to share with us.
Mine is less accomplished or compared to Daksha, but there was a moment where I felt very proud. Recently, about 6 months back, I reached out to one of my ex team members on LinkedIn. She's an amazing professional. I had coached her and mentored her for a few years. She used to report into me, and I wasn't sure if she really would remember me. So I reached out to her on LinkedIn and I said, "Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing?" And she actually responded with a very heartfelt message. She's saying, very silly that you would even ask me whether I remember you. Every day, I actually remember everything that you coached me and taught me. And she said, I heard someone else that person was also in our team, uh, admonishing a team member saying, you need to live by everything that Purnima's taught us. You should make sure that your quality of deliverable stands up to scrutiny, regardless of whether someone's scrutinizing it or no. And we live by those learnings every day. It made me feel really good because on a day-to-day basis, we mentor and coach people, and we never know how they take it. We never know whether they take it in a positive way or as a way to improve. So just knowing that people actually remember that and live by that actually made me feel like all the years of effort that we put in actually is not lost. So that
Wow.
actually was my that day.
Great. I know. I completely understand how it feels. It's so satisfying, right? It's so beautiful. I think the celebration is one of the most crucial parts. I think we'll go into this celebration panel a little deeper with starting off with this positive energy in here, and we are going to go into how more people who are listening right now can improve their walks of life. So, to start off with, yes, all of us want to be successful. All of us want to be that person who can achieve great things. And success comes from many factors, and out of which quality plays a very major role. From your experience, Purnima, what is the number one way you think that we can make a substantial improvement in quality in our business or in the role that we are doing?
The way I typically approach it is quality is something that you'll have to focus on every day and in everything that you do, and it starts with the people that you put together. So it has to be people who actually care about it intensely. It has to be about pulling together teams that are diverse in thinking and can come up with new ideas. And it's not an and are constantly looking for continuous improvement and continuous learning. So those are the three things that I focus on a regular basis.
Okay. Yes, continuous improvement is one thing that all of us are constantly striving to achieve. Very, very valuable advice. And Daksha, from your experience, what are your thoughts on achieving
Yeah,
quality?
coming from a pharmaceutical unit, we always have this play saying that quality has no holiday, and quality is not what you put into the product, but quality is what the customer gets out of it. In my case, it's a 24-hour-old baby which gets the vaccine. So this is what quality is all about, right? Your business plan is quality. If there is no quality, then there is no business. And we also tell that when the customer does not get the quality, from the chairman to the last man in the industry gets fired because he moves on to the next supplier or
Yes, 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 yes. Very important. Yes, quality is when we don't have a holiday for quality. That was really, really great. That is going to stick to my mind forever. And we are here welcoming Kavipriya. Hello, Kavipriya. I think we, yeah, we just
Hello.
started off with a. Can you hear us?
Yes, I
Kavipriya?
can hear you. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you as well. So we just started off with a celebrate panel, and I think you are here at the right time to answer the right question. We just started off with how to improve quality in whatever we do on a day-to-day basis. I think can you hear us, Kavipriya? Else we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So how to improve quality at work? Is that what we are discussing at the
Yeah.
moment?
Yes. Yeah.
One is freedom of choice and respecting people at work. I know that hierarchy is very important, but despite hierarchy, we must also treat people with a lot of respect at various levels, whether it starts from the boss till the housekeeping. When a lot of respect is given for all the people without categorizing into various compartments, without having the hierarchy, things work a lot. So people tend to get that sense of ownership. And most of the times, like in my company, we say that work is fair. And we treat all our employees so well. And I think respect is a key to answer this short.
Yes. Sure, of course. Work is worship, and worship, we always lead it to quality. I think 3 different perspectives of how to improve quality. It was fantastic. Thank you for your thoughts on that. And when the next question I would love to throw to Kavipriya, starting off. Say, I'm just giving you a situation where if you're going to come face to face with an aspiring women entrepreneur who is planning to start a business, what would be one practical advice for her?
I would tell her that please don't use a tag of a woman entrepreneur. Call yourself an entrepreneur. While that privilege has also been important for certain levels of people, it's not good to have that in your mind. So if you start treating yourself as equal and also understand that women have a lot many more strengths, but you do not use a tag per se. That's the first advice I would tell her. 2, we are very strong as women, physically, mentally, and at various levels. So I would ask her to believe in those strengths and fight like a woman, run like a woman, which means fight fiercely, run fiercely, and just make the tough people feel so tough. So that's what I would say. So just work hard and do not use any tag, but still understand that being woman is very, very strong. That's it.
Okay. Great. I think it is just be who you are, and that is going to give us a lot of strength. That is very valuable advice. And any thoughts on this, Daksha?
Oh, yes. The first thing I would like to tell from my experience, perseverance. You have made a plan, right? Before we got into the business, we have conceptualized, we have a mission statement, we have a vision statement, we have made a plan. So things might not work in the beginning. You might hit stumbling blocks, but stick to it, stick to the plan, and don't give up easily. This is what I would tell, especially women. Of course, the family is the center of everything in our lives. But when something pulls us or tugs us at that side, never give it up, because the strength we can draw, it's mutual. It's like the strength of the pack lies in the family. It's something very similar. Never give up. Never go back to the family feeling guilty or that you're not giving time. Our plan will work. You just have to give it some time. perseverance is something that I would tell all startup, especially women, don't give it up.
Yeah, very true.
Completely
Perseverance
count
and
on your
not give up.
PowerPoint.
Completely important. Purnima, I know you have a lot of experience on these kind of dealing with a lot of customers and other things. What is your thought on women entrepreneur aspiring? What would be one practical advice you would give them?
So there are many things I personally follow and I also advise. One, anchor yourself on your customer. Who's your end customer? Anchor yourself on your customer. And I completely agree with Kavipriya. I always say, I don't like tags. I don't like being tagged as a women leader. I don't like being tagged as a representative of diversity. It is important, but I'd like to think of myself as a professional first and a leader, and a leader. Leader as well without those tags. But second most important advice I give to myself every day and to everyone is take ownership. Right? You can't expect others to do what you're expecting them to do unless you really understand what's required. So take ownership not only for the plan but also the execution. You might not be the person doing the executing, but then you'll have to take ownership for what needs to get executed and be in the details as well.
True.
So those are, that's that I try to follow every day, and I advise everyone as well.
Oh, absolutely valuable. I think whenever we are doing something, I think being who you are, each and every advice, whether we are women or men or aspiring or already having a successful business, these advice are going to be very, very helpful on a day-to-day basis. So moving on to the next part, what we have is, I would like to start with Daksha in here. There is the big term that all of us are talking about, social entrepreneurship. How do you see the evolution of social entrepreneurship as a concept shaping up in our current times right now?
Yeah, if I could take a little time, I'd like to tell that this word, maybe social entrepreneurship, is new, but this is what we have been doing, coming from a land of kings and queens. This is what they did to the subjects. The welfare of the citizen was very, very crucial. So mankind is our business. It has always been, it will be, and that is how it is. So anyway, the coinage of social entrepreneurship, I think 1980s, we go back to Bill Clayton, and the amazing number of socially impactful, not just socially, economically, and environmentally impactful businesses. Healthcare, human rights, culture. We have Purnima here with us, culture and environment. So I think social entrepreneurship, comparing it with private business, there is control over the workers in private business. Here it's more democratic, it's profit driven, this is more impact driven. But I would like to tell something. Here the labor is empowered. So when the labor is empowered, in private business, capital will hire labor, but in social entrepreneurship, labor will hire capital. And that's the way to go. And I can elaborate much later, but I would like to give the opportunity for others to talk about this.
No, that was a beautiful thought process. It was really great. I think you put it in a very, very precise, I would say we call it the nutshell, that is great. And I would like to get your thoughts, Kavipriya, because when we introduced you in the panel, we talked a lot about your classical dance, your CSR initiative, how you're an expert on all that. So we'd love to hear from you as well, Kavipriya, on this.
See, social entrepreneurship, unless it's experimental, it becomes very limited. So I believe that
I think Kavipriya is having some kind of technical glitch in here. We'll just pause for now. And Purnima, I'll just move the question to you. I think in the meantime, Kavipriya can join.
So, as far as I'm concerned, big kudos. I'm inspired by everyone who's in the social entrepreneurship space. Right. I personally am not, but I admire and I'm very envious of everyone who's in that space. The space that I've been in, the domain I've been in for more than 23 years, which is data and analytics, and now AI, is changing lives. It's changing societies, and it's changing the future of work. So, as a business domain and a space, I think this space is very dependent on all of those social entrepreneurs to help society actually adapt to all these changes. And interestingly, I've seen a lot of businesses that are in the commercial space, but looking at helping society adapt with this change. So I've come across at least 2 or 3 organizations that are doing some amazing work, like People Shores. It is a commercial business, but it's in the business of helping underprivileged kids to be able to learn digital skills and data skills to be able to operate in the new world and the modern world while having fulfilling careers as well. Right? It's underprivileged kids who are in the poorest neighborhoods, but also who possibly have some disabilities that they're dealing with. I've come across a few other organizations that are helping upskill people who are in traditional businesses. Like I've come across in my prior job, organizations that would hire people with just with community college education, who've been truckers, who've been in other kinds of businesses, but learning digital and data skills so that they can get into the IT industry, which is booming. So while these are not technically non-profits, but these are socially aware and socially responsible organizations, part of the corporate sector and for-profit businesses. There's just so much of opportunity and a need for this. I think it's really amazing the work that's happening in this space.
Yeah, that was a beautiful insight. Whether just because it is about social entrepreneurship, it's not about being nonprofit. I think it's the way of thinking, the way we lead our business. I think every entrepreneur can be socially responsible and take it in the positive stride, which is very important. That was very, very thoughtful.
Yeah,
Priya, I think Kavipriya is here.
Since Kavipriya is not able to talk about culture, since I'm also wearing another hat of having a social entrepreneurship enterprise for art, there is a company called, when I went to Paraguay, I saw, since she's in the space of dance and culture, they have their motto that if an adolescent is made to play Mozart in the day, then one shop window is broken less in the night. So transformational change can happen with social enterprises engaging in various areas in social entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Very well said. Very well said. Absolutely. Beautiful thought process. Now we'll move on to the next one where we are going to talk about diversity, which is a talk of the times right now. So diversity is everybody is talking about it. However, how much of it is adopted in practice, and how could we make our businesses more inclusive and diverse? Purnima?
So for me, it's diversity is about diversity of thinking. Because that becomes very important, as a business leader, for me to make sure that I can constantly look at what's happening outside. And if I have people who all come from the same ilk, the same thinking, then you're not spurring innovation. So for me, diversity of thinking, diversity of background is very critical and important. And many a times we fall into the trap of 3 or 4 areas of improvement in order to improve diversity, like hiring more diverse talent, or getting people trained on unconscious bias, and so on and so forth. I go back to looking at 2 other additional things. One, the biggest challenge and barrier we face in improving diversity is the pipeline of talent that you have to tap into. Right. So looking at how we can actually accelerate that and increase the enthusiasm in individual communities that you want to tap into, to make sure that your pipeline increases. Because as a business leader, I have business objectives to meet. I want to get the best candidate for positions and roles, and not necessarily just look at diversity as the only criteria for my hiring needs. Second, I'm also very focused on making sure that the diverse talent I have can thrive in my organization and team, right? One is to add new people, but am I making the environment conducive for people to want to grow their careers and stay with me? So that's the other thing that I think I'm very heavily focused on, and that's the practice piece of it, right? It's not just about talking about diversity, but really making it more a thriving environment for people to want to stay and want to grow their careers and not look at it as a job stop when they join teams. So those are the two biggest things that I think we can do a better job of, and that I'm focused on a constant basis.
Very detailed and thoughtful. It is great. I think each and every aspect that you explained is going to be very helpful. We have a couple of audience questions as well in between, but before that, I move on to the audience question. Daksha, a quick word on aspect of diversity.
Yes, all kinds of diversity. Diversity. We're not just talking about gender diversity. We're talking about the challenge. We are talking about the infirm. We are talking about sexual orientation. I feel if there is an eligibility criteria, once the candidate matches the eligibility criteria, then you just go into a lottery system. It just does not matter whether they will be from this particular gender or this particular, without any discrimination. I somehow feel as long as they fit the job criteria, when I'm hiring somebody in my unit, if they are able to deliver the job, it really doesn't matter male, female, or handicapped. Sometimes we have hired visually impaired if they fit the job. So it is not like we are going there looking for making our company, to accept all kinds of people. But I feel the job description should just match the person. That's about it. The individual. It'll come down to the individual.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. So the audience question here is going to be, what is one biggest barrier, most significant barrier in female leadership? Purnima?
I'm not sure how popular this response will be, but I'll be very upfront. I believe we are our own barriers most of the time. There are a few things that I personally struggle with constantly. One is imposter syndrome, because I'm also looking to make sure that I meet up to my own expectations and what I think others are expecting out of me. So I'm looking for perfectionism before I actually take on anything. I used to do that for a long time. And I have to say, I've had a great support system of family, friends, male and female, who actually helped me get over it. Right. And I believe, when I mentor people, I realize, mentor women and men, I realize that women have a higher barrier in terms of their own self-worth, in terms of doubting themselves about how good enough they are. And that's something that I believe causes a bigger barrier than anything else. And many a times, I think we also take to heart the tags that we are given. You're too aggressive, you're too assertive, you're too that, and you're too this. And we try to overcorrect, and we overthink, right? And then we become our own enemies in terms of, again, feeding into that doubt that we have. So I think we need to, I constantly reflect, and I try to shut out all of those voices, and believe in myself, look towards my target and my goals, and do what I think is right. As far as my business, my teams, my customers are concerned, and believe that actually helps me more than overthinking some of the tags that we get bestowed with, if you may.
I think you nailed it. We already have a Facebook comment saying that you nailed it. I completely agree as well. I think the one biggest barrier, as you rightly said, the overthinking trap that we always fall into, and we just go round and round in that trap, and we are never able to come out of it. I think you nailed it. Kavipriya is back in here. So Kavipriya, we are talking about we picked one of the audience questions, one of the biggest barrier in women leadership. What are your thoughts on that?
The self-limiting beliefs in business, I would like to call it like that, is we really set, women tend to keep very high standards for themselves, but that by itself is a self-limiting belief. Uh, I've heard one fantastic TED speech where the speaker says that uh, while applying for certain jobs, 80% of the men applied without too much forethought. Whereas women, they self-limit them, saying that like, okay, to apply for this, I must have reached this standard. So they keep setting the bar so high, even for things that that does not require to be in that level. So we keep, I think we set our standards too high that it becomes self-limiting to acquire all kinds of opportunities. Sometimes we have to just jump in and learn to swim along the tide. So that's what I consider as a biggest self-limiting belief in business.
I
We
think
have too high standards and we hesitate a lot in certain things. That must not be there.
I know exactly. Setting too high a standard, it could be defeating as well. How important being realistic with our goals are is also very important. And just dive in. I always say that, just do it. You should be fine. Daksha, what are your thoughts on this?
I go around giving talks a lot on women empowerment, they call it. I say, always I mention about this war veteran who has dropped 498 bombs in World War II, has got his medal displayed in a Facebook wanting likes, and he says he has got 120 likes. This is what women are doing. You've gone through your monthly periods month on month. You have gone through pregnancy. You've had a childbirth, whether it's C-section or normal. You have mothered and fathered and looked after every member of the family. You don't need empowerment. It's there for the takes. It's there. You just got to take it. We are all the time wanting somebody to hand it over to us. No, just proactive. Go for it, take it, and you don't need validation.
Exactly. I think it was very, very motivational. That was beautiful, Daksha. And we'll move on to the probably the last question. We just have another 5 more minutes. And what kind of support system, or whether we have it or lack of it, exists in the community network for women entrepreneurs?
You want me to go first?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The support is there plenty. I think we just need to remove the glass to see it. We shouldn't just get put off, like Purnima rightly said, by certain comments that you get. You should just close all those voices. The support is there. There is a way, a methodology in which you can start a business. There is it's all online now. There are ways in which you can go about it. Just like anybody, we have equal opportunity. So we just got to go there, take the step forward, have a plan, conceptualize, see whether you have all the steps ready. Most importantly, have a financial plan. And when you approach somebody with a proper structure and a proper system for your business, you will find that support comes from anywhere and everywhere. It's up to us. I think it's I-centered, it's me-centered, and it's myself-centered. If you go out and reach in the proper way with a proper plan, in my experience, I have found support not just from my own area of Chennai or Tamil Nadu, but all over India and the globe. So I think we women, if we are talking particularly about the support that is lacking, or whether we are debating it's there, it is there. It is for us to go seek it.
Yes.
The seekers will find it.
Yep, go and grab it. That is very, very nicely put. And I would love to hear from Kavipriya.
Okay. As Daksha said, we have to support every way. The first thing we need to do is to ask. I mean, only if you ask for something, you would get it. So the support is plenty. We have to keep our eyes open, ask. And sometimes we have to be very shameless when you ask, you know. Some of the best things can happen in the most unexpected places. So be shameless when it comes to expressing your ambitions in life. Okay, work really hard, persevere. Above all, ask. Whether you love someone, you propose to the person. The same way you require an opportunity, when you want to seek an opportunity, when you want to explore your potential, see what's available for you, you have to ask. So I think the opportunities are plenty. We only need to ask.
Oh, of course, yes. Ask is one, I would say.
I would just say be shameless, fearless, and ask.
Yes, shameless and fearless. I love the way you put it. Especially, yes, we are so, just like what Purnima said the other time, you know, we are constantly in our overthinking trap that we are always questioning ourselves so much. I think I love the way you put it as shameless and fearless. Love it. Purnima, what are your thoughts on the support system?
I think Kavipriya and Daksha nailed it and shared everything. I just have two more things to add. One, I think it's important to be prepared and do your homework, and not expect. I think Daksha mentioned this. Don't expect anything to be given to you in a platter. Take ownership. Back to that point. And the last is be selfish and relentless. Right? Be selfish about your goals and make sure that nothing gets in your way. Of course, do it ethically and the right way, but then be selfish and relentless in your pursuit.
Very nice, very nice. Yes, sometimes, you know, it is okay to be selfish, and especially we think that selfish is sometimes bad, but to get our goals, we end up being shameless, fearless, selfish. Beautiful words. We have one audience question. I'm just going to throw it. Whoever wants to answer, you can just go ahead. And there was a question about women returning back to career. If you have any platform to address that, what would be your advice for those women who are taking a break and then getting back to work? Any of you can answer. Go ahead.
I don't have the name of the organization, but there are a couple of organizations, at least in the IT industry, where where they do mentor and coach women to help them get back into the workforce, but also based on the availability that they have, right? Because it's not like everyone's going to be able to come back to the workforce either full time. And the second issue that women coming back to the workforce have is confidence, and they have sea legs when they come back. Right. So there are a couple of organizations that I've come across that actually help with this. One doing part-time or or at least it's not full-time, where it can be a flexible schedule. And the second, where they actually mentor and coach you to help you win your confidence back and help you get your sea legs.
Suggestions, all the ideas. I think I really enjoyed it. I wish the time stopped for us, but the time goes on. It does not stop. So that is why we are going to end this panel discussion. A big thank you to the great three women here for all the beautiful way of how you answered each and every question so that each and every person can understand it clearly. And I love some great words in here. I'm going to first of all follow each and every one of them. And I'm sure as audience members are going to have that, as I before said, the new idea, the new spark that you would have got. I'm sure that they will be able to take it forward into our lives. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for the opportunity. It was a great platform.
Congratulations on the good work ATEA is doing. Fantastic. Keep it up.
Thank you. It is a pleasure. We look forward to having you more in the future.
Thank you very much, ATEA, and thank you to the lovely host, and thank you to my people, lovely women here. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah. Yes, let's celebrate women.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you, Priya. What a powerful panel. And thanks to all the speakers for motivating us with a powerful speech and letting us know how important it is to pause, just pause and celebrate our achievements as women. Thank you all. Now let's look into some of the videos, what our youth volunteers have to say about the women who inspired them. Thank you.
உலகின் தொழில்துறை முன்னோடிகள் அதிக அளவில் வாழும் நாடு அமெரிக்கா. புத்தாக்க சிந்தனைகளால் புதுமைகள் படைத்து நவீன உலகில் வெற்றி பெற்ற ஆப்பிள், கூகுள், மைக்ரோசாஃப்ட், ஃபேஸ்புக், அமேசான், டெஸ்லா போன்ற உலகின் மிகப்பெரிய நிறுவனங்களை உருவாக்கியதும் அமெரிக்காவே. தம் சொந்த மண்ணை விட்டு புலம்பெயர்ந்து அமெரிக்காவில் வாழ்ந்து இன்று பெரும் தொழில் முனைவோர்களாக உயர்ந்து விளங்கும் நம் தமிழர் அனைவரும் ஒன்றிணைந்த கூட்டமைப்பே ATEA. சிகரம் தொட்ட சாதனை தமிழர்களின் கூட்டமைப்பு அமெரிக்கன் தமிழ் ஆண்டர்பிரினர்ஸ் அசோசியேஷன் 2016ஆம் ஆண்டு சான் பிரான்சிஸ்கோவிலும் நியூயார்க்கிலும் அனுபவம் வாய்ந்த தமிழ் தொழில் முனைவோர் ஒரு சிலரால் ஆரம்பிக்கப்பட்டது இந்த ATEA. தேச எல்லைகள் கடந்து உலகெங்கும் பறந்து வாழும் நம் தமிழ் உறவுகள் மத்தியில் தொழில் முனைவோர் அனைவரையும் அரவணைத்து பல்வேறு தொழில்துறைகளில் முதலீட்டு ஆலோசனைகள், தொழில்நுட்ப ஆலோசனைகள், புதிய தொழில்துறைகளுக்கான ஆலோசனைகள் மற்றும் வழிகாட்டல்கள் அடங்கிய பயிலரங்குகளையும் கருத்தரங்குகளையும் தொடர்ச்சியாக நடத்தி வருகிறது ATEA. பல ஆயிரம் உறுப்பினர்களை கொண்ட ATEA இன்று தொடக்க நிலையில் இருக்கும் தொழில்நுட்ப நிறுவனங்களுக்கும், ஹெல்த் கேர், ஆர்கானிக் ஃபார்மிங், ரியல் எஸ்டேட் நிறுவனங்கள் மற்றும் பிரான்சைஸ் வணிகத்துறை ஆகியவற்றுக்கும் முதலீட்டாளர்களை அறிமுகம் செய்வதோடு அத்துறைகளில் அவர்களது வெற்றிக்கு வழிகாட்டியாக உதவிக்கரம் நீட்டும் பணியையும் செய்து வருகிறது. அமெரிக்க தமிழ் தொழில் முனைவோர் சங்கத்தின் மற்றுமோர் புதிய முயற்சி ATEA டிஜிட்டல் ஆக்சலரேட்டர். இந்த முயற்சியின் மூலமாக பல முதலீட்டாளர்களின் அறிமுகமும், பல தொழில் வல்லுநர்களின் தொடர்பும், நிபுணர்களின் வழிகாட்டலும் மட்டுமன்றி தமிழக அரசின் ஸ்டார்ட் அப் கிராண்ட்ஸ், அதாவது மானிய உதவியும் கிடைக்கும் வாய்ப்பும் உள்ளது. வாருங்கள், தரணியெங்கும் வாழும் நம் தமிழர்களை தலை நிமிர்ந்த தமிழ் இனமாக மாற்றும் லட்சியத்துடன் ஒன்றிணைவோம். தமிழ் தொழில் முனைவோர் உலகின் எந்த மூலையில் இருந்தாலும் அமெரிக்க தமிழ் தொழில் முனைவோர் சங்கத்துடன் இணைய தொடர்பு கொள்ளுங்கள். மின்னஞ்சல், இமெயில் contact@ateausa.org, இணையதளம் www.ateausa.org.
Shrinta. For me, the most influential person is Malala Yousafzai. Malala taught me that age is not a barrier to stand up for the right things, and that I have the capacity to make decisions that can positively shape the world. These words of her inspire me. Education is education. We should learn everything and then choose which path to follow. Education is neither Eastern or Western. It is human.
Thank you.
Every woman's success should be an inspiration to others. We are the strongest when we cheer each other on, says Serena Williams. Here we have a panel who have challenged themselves, balanced their life and work, and given back to the community. I welcome Uma Haynes to moderate the empowerment panel. Uma has over 20 years of IT leadership experience. She's currently the Vice President of Digital Analytics at Novalis. She's responsible for deploying the use of data science, artificial intelligence, and other digital solutions to drive continuous improvements within Novalis plant operations. Uma holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration and Economics from Carnegie Mellon University and an MBA from Emory University. Uma, the stage is all yours.
Thank you very much, Hema. Very glad to be here. And also alongside of me, we've got a great panel of women leaders. I'd like to do a quick introduction of the women that are joining me here today. First, we have Linda Kazadi. She is the Principal Customer Success Manager at Illusion. In this role, Linda has the responsibility to work with the customers, understand their priorities, and really adopt the solutions to the finest, to the best of their ability. We also have Barbara Salami. She's the Vice President for Digital Commercial at Moderna. Obviously, there's a lot of news about Moderna these days. I have my vaccine appointment on Monday, so very excited for that from Moderna. And in this role, Barbara is responsible for creating seamless experiences for all Moderna customers. And she also uses digital and analytic capabilities to do that. So very nice to have you here. And then last but not least, we have Vidya Subramaniam, who is the CEO and founder of Zemo. I hope I said that correctly. She's held several senior roles at various global companies, but most recently, she's really been a self-made entrepreneur. Vidya has recently launched an innovative new app that brings freelance chefs to foodies across country. So create a unique culinary experience for them. So very glad to have all three of you here. Without further ado, I'm going to just jump into our questions, and our audience who's listening live, also encourage you to stream in your questions as well. So for the first question we have here, and I'll direct this to Linda, and then maybe others can join in. As a female leader, Linda, what are some of the major challenges that you have faced in the business world?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. Some of the key business challenges I faced as a woman, and also an international woman, is first and foremost, when I was working in an office permanently, it would be Monday morning quarterbacking with all the guys talking about football, and not including me and weaving me into those conversations that also led into meeting rooms and things of that nature. So those inside jokes, when they did not weave into the fabric of that conversation, you know, high achieving women that can participate. Maybe we don't know as much about sports, but being inclusionary and having that powerful platform to get to know some of your colleagues, your male colleagues, I feel was a challenge. As I've progressed in my career, some of the other challenges I've seen at the highest of levels are things such as cultural bias as a woman. You know, with COVID in the last year and a half, some of us have not been able to get home. And I've experienced the challenge in business of people talking behind my back, men especially saying culturally disadvantaged comments about my birthplace of Australia and things of that nature, as well as having to work twice as hard, sometimes 3 times as hard. I heard this in the last panel, where women have to work so much harder in so many instances to achieve from a mindset perspective what a man can achieve, you know, with 20% of the knowledge whereas we're expected in some ways to amass 80% of the knowledge. And the final point, Uma, that comes to mind for me in terms of challenge is the fact that if we step back, is that fear of failure sometimes. Whether it's a mindset that is congruent with our way of thinking or not, is that challenge that we do have to work harder, and balancing those responsibilities with a family and other outside extenuating circumstances for us to be part of the business without having to be divisive in the way that we approach things.
All great points, Linda. Thank you. And I personally resonated with that first one, that, and not just with men, but when you're not part of the in crowd, or you can't relate to the topics at hand, the non-business topics at hand, it does make it a little more difficult to, assert your position or leadership. So thank you for that comment, Linda. Vidya or Barbara, anything to add from your perspective?
Yeah, I could add a couple of points there. I think whatever Linda covered is spot on. To add to that, I also had a vast career in financial services. So Wall Street is one of the most male-dominated industries. Of course, it's changing. But 20 years ago, I found myself being one of the only females, let alone a woman of color, in many meetings. And I think, throughout my career, just not having enough role models who can mentor me and people that I could look up to was a barrier, but that kind of changed over time. I think inherently there used to be a lot of unconscious bias, which again has improved, over the last 20 years. But those are some of the challenges that I used to face. I felt like I would surprise people. It's almost like they didn't know what to expect from someone like me. And so now I make it a point to mentor and reach out to the younger generation who are in a similar situation, to make sure that they know they're not alone. There are role models, and there are ways to work around some of those challenges.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you've taken your experience and then paying it forward that way for the future leaders. So that's great. Barbara, do you have anything to add to that question?
I mean, just want to make sure, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. So first of all, I'm really honored to be on the panel with such amazing women. I think been very articulate, and everything resonates with me. Probably the only other piece I would add, and Vidya actually mentioned this, is there is definitely another layer around the intersectionality of being a woman of color, where there is even a higher expectation for how well you perform to even get any recognition. And so that was one that I feel like I had battled for a very, very long time. It didn't matter how hard I worked. It didn't matter how articulate I sounded. It always just seemed like I wasn't, doing well enough. And quite frankly, does impact you when you start thinking about confidence, because you get to the point where you might doubt yourself and say, well, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. Maybe I'm not able to articulate myself as well because I did not grow up in the States. So I think those are the types of challenges that happen, whether they're conscious or unconscious, whether there are things that are already built systemically into how our environments are set up. That's one area. And then I would describe myself as a part-time entrepreneur. So I kind of always have a side gig going on. I think it's also very difficult for access to funding, or even anyone finding individuals who will take you seriously as a woman, especially a woman who is assumed to be a mother, a wife, and ultimately, right, potentially having another job. And so that was another area where it was sometimes very difficult to get recognized seriously, even when the ideas made a lot of sense.
Oh, great. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Anusha Ravi has joined us. Welcome. Let me just do a quick introduction to our guest of Anusha, and then also maybe pose that same question to you. So Dr. Anusha Ravi is the CEO of Park Group Institutions. Through this role, she's been really a pioneer in the education world, and through charitable trust and giving has really helped educate over 20,000 students, so quite remarkable there. And I've understood that most recently you've entered the world of politics, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that. And so the question, Anusha, that we were talking about as you were joining was, what are the major challenges you have faced as a woman in business?
Hi everyone, I apologize for being late because I had a full round of campaigning to run here. Elections are coming up on April 6th, and I am a recent entry to politics, and I'm finding it all very busy, and it's fun, but a lot of work, a lot of respect for politicians I have after entering it. So yeah, thank you for the question. I mean, it's. I know, I mean, there has been challenges, but, fortunately for me, my mom has been a forerunner in this business that we are running here in India. My history also goes back to living in the US. I started my first business in US in 2004, BPO company, and then I moved back to India in 2010. And since then, I've been here running our family business of education, where we run, multiple institutions and, have about 20,000 students under our wing. So this is a brief history of what I do. And I also have an IT company which I run, is specializing in product development. That is also, that is for my passion that I've started. So, I'm basically a computer science person. So that is something that I do enjoy. So I've been developing a product which, kind of bridges the gap between the haves and have-nots. It's something like, connecting the NGOs to the corporate world. So it's been I've done a lot of things, and everywhere, I have met great women all over the place, and somebody always inspires you. And luckily for me, I've been an inspiration. When I came back to India, I was very open. I was meeting a lot of people. Everybody told me, don't expose yourself so much. You have to do this, you have to do this a certain way. And, I never, one of the things that most women end up doing is, following certain norms set by the society wherever they are. And I think, I've never adhered to any of that in a good way, not as a bad way. And I've also represented Forum Davos in Paris, representing India for women entrepreneurs. And, what I see is most of the time the challenges that women bring upon, women have or brought upon by themselves, listening to somebody or, putting up, ceiling for themselves. These are the things that I've noticed. Personally, in business, yes, there has been situations, especially when I entered politics, there's, a lot of people saying, why do you want to do it? This is not the thing to do for people like you and things like that. But I never listened. And I was also the first systems engineer when I was working in the US for, subsidiary of Airbus to put internet on the airplane. And as I was listening to some conversation, I was the first colored woman engineer in the whole team. And this was in 2004 in Japan when I went to actually install a system. The engineering division of the airline in airport did not have a women's toilet. So I had to use the men's restroom with a couple of my colleagues standing outside. So I've seen, places, things all over the place, but I'm in a very nice bubble in India, I would say. There are things happening to women across India, but there is also, a lot of respect for women, which I find very good here in India after coming back.
Excellent. Thank you. And speaking of breaking norms, it sounds like you yourself have broken some norms, being the first colored woman engineer in your Airbus experience, which leads us to our next, I think, wonderful question here. And maybe I'll direct this to Vidya, if you don't mind picking us up on this one, and then others will chime in. So for the first time in the history of the United States, we do have a woman as our vice president. Vice President Kamala Harris, and hails from Tamil Nadu. There's a very exciting connection for this group. So the question is, do you think the glass ceiling with this very visible move and appointment is finally shattered? And if no, why not? And what further work do we have to do in this regard?
I would say the glass ceiling for the vice president role has been shattered. First of all, it's very inspiring. I've been following Kamala Harris's career for a while. She's an inspiring leader and a lady with her background and educational qualifications, etc., and her accomplishments, of course. I do think it's a good start, right? I think we all here can agree that representation matters, especially in the White House. So that, I think, was a huge win for all of us coming out of this election. Having said that, I personally think there's a lot of work to do across the many layers, in the corporate world, in the startup industry. There is some more work to do for us to get better at this and become more inclusive. And my experience has been, working in the corporate world before this for many years. I would agree with the comments that were made earlier. I felt like women have had to prove themselves more so for similar opportunities. And I think that was always a challenge. So I think we have more work to do.
Yeah, I think it's well said. I think that for each role, whether it's in corporation or government, I think they each have their own glass ceiling because every industry and every market is very different, has different types of biases. So I love how you phrase that. Other ladies, do you have anything to add or perspectives to that question? I'll just open it up.
Yeah, I agree with Vidya. Without question, the ceiling from that perspective is shattered, and I would say our mission is to make sure that Kamala Harris is not the last female vice president we have. But I agree that there's still so many systemic issues that make it very difficult for women, whether we talk about access to the right type of education. Women are more likely the ones who will not be able to pay for education. They're the ones who are more likely than not to be in informal economies. And so an economic crisis as ours today has, I think, significantly impacted women more than it's impacted men. And so even if you think about, how that sets women back, there's a lot that needs to be done. I think it's inspirational. It's great that, our daughters, young women get to see her, but I do think it's really important that we think about the right types of networks to support young women and women as ourselves to continue to thrive.
Excellent.
Yeah. I do feel that the glass ceiling is probably it's an example that she has set, and a lot of people can follow. But that's not just that. It will be many people will be aspiring to, but nobody will be taking them seriously. For example, even if you achieve it as a woman. As a man, if they achieve it, they say, okay, yeah, he made it, or like somebody, he has worked hard, so he got it. But if a woman makes it to the top, it's always through some favors. They always portray the picture like that. Even here, whatever I achieve is they attribute to my family, or my father, or somebody in the family. So it never, it's not always that women gets the credit for what they do, even if they make it to the top. That is my observation.
I think she's paved the way. I don't think she's actually shattered the glass ceiling yet. She's fought racism, she's fought sexism. And despite those barriers in front of her, she has achieved. And to Barbara's point, it's the vice president role. So when can we anticipate seeing her become the president and break that glass ceiling as well and pave the way and for younger women to look up to a woman who has achieved success and celebrate that success versus being in an environment where people will poke holes in her success and doubt her credibility, not only as a woman, but as a woman leader.
Yeah, very well said, Linda, and others. I think it's, you know, in my experience as a leader in business as well, you know, what my mantra is people want to stay where they feel included, and people feel included where they can see themselves in higher and higher up positions, or as a team lead or a vice president, or in this case, as we're talking about a vice president of the United States. And I think it's so important. Many of you touched on being that role model, and it really does open up people's eyes of what is possible, because sometimes you're constrained around the world around you. So great.
And Uma, if I could just, you know, really build upon what Linda and Anusha said, because there's a really, I mean, important and salient point here is it's always easy to poke holes into what a woman does. But I think it's really critical that we become our biggest champions, because women are also the ones, right, who would say, well, she got it because of Joe Biden. Yeah, she only got this job, right, because I think it's really important that we start to learn to help elevate ourselves. Otherwise, no one else will do it for us. And it's almost like it needs to be very deliberate and not just opportunistic.
Yeah, I think we have to be advocates for our own self, right, and take that self-doubt. So I fully agree, Barbara, which is actually a good segue to the next question. So building off of that, Barbara, what do you think there are other qualities that women should be focused on to empower themselves and other women in business today?
So I'll say, I mean, other than, you know, making sure that you are prepared, you know, it's always important. You can't go to a farm without a hoe, as we would say in Nigeria, right? Or your equipment or a tractor, whatever you can use. So preparedness is almost like it's a requirement. I would say it's really important to be bold and resilient. You're probably going to get more no's than yeses during the course of your journey. And understanding that, and a friend of mine and I, we always laugh about, you know, senior leaders and meals we watch in meetings where we walk out and say, well, how come he's not upset? Like, we just had this really heated conversation and I'm still stewing about it and having sleepless nights. And it's almost as if it never happened. How do you learn, right, to let go of things? Because, you know, as women, we have the tendency, right, to brew. We really need to understand how to get more emotionally intelligent about our approach to things. Whether we like it or not, we are judged based on how we appear, how we present ourselves, and how well we handle, you know, difficult situations. So I think that's really critical. And then last but not least, I think it's really important to learn how to use your voice. We all have a voice, irrespective of your style, whether you're an extrovert, an introvert. Your style might be more about how you do things. Others might be what you say, but I think it's really important that we understand how to use our voices. So, you know, simple, be prepared, you know, let go of things. Don't let that really hold you back. Bold and resilient. The no's will come, the challenges will come, but we're stronger than those things. And then just make sure that we continue to speak up.
Great. I love what you said. Get comfortable with no's, because the no's will come, and don't let that you know, knock you down, so to speak. Linda, Vidya, or Anusha?
Yeah, I just have one thing to add, right? I think this came up in the previous panel as well. What I have found through my career for myself and, you know, some of the others I've interacted with, other women leaders, is there is a self-doubt and, you know, imposter syndrome that often pulls us down. We would be absolutely qualified for the role. Maybe we are 8 out of 10, right? But we dwell about the 2% that, you know, we don't do, and we become our own barriers. So I think, you know, the skill is one thing, even if it's a level playing field for men and women, let's say for a job opportunity or a promotion, women, I think, become our own barriers. You know, we question ourselves. Am I good enough? we do listen to the 9 out of 10 no's, and then we start to question our own skills and competencies. What I find interesting is, in my experience, this is more so when you become a founder, when you're fundraising and you go in front of all the investors. They poke holes, and they make you question the objective and the idea to begin with. So it's really important to be self-aware and have coping mechanisms that keep you out of this loop.
That's great. And just drilling down on that a bit further, Vidya, would you be willing to share, what are some of those coping mechanisms? So if this is an acknowledged thing that maybe many women do, that self-doubt and kind of getting themselves down, what do you personally do to not get yourself out of that or not go down that vicious cycle?
Yeah, I think the first thing is awareness, right? So knowing that this is something that a thought process that can drag you down. So the minute it starts happening, I check myself, right? And secondly, surrounding yourself with mentors and the people who can lift you up, people who can elevate you. That's really, really important. I also work with an executive coach who keeps me honest. But I also have amazing mentors, people who can remind you of all your accomplishments and successes and what you are made of. And I think over time, it kind of becomes your second nature. But the first step is becoming aware and, totally believing in yourself. That's really important. Yeah.
Great. I love what you said. One of the advices that I've received in my career is also to make sure you know who your personal board of directors are, right? And the people, the mentors that you can trust when things do happen, how you can talk to a diverse group of people in order to get yourself back up or refocused.
Yeah.
So great. I'm sorry. I think there was.
Anusha, I wanted to say something. Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it was, all these external factors, whatever people say and all those things never, over a period of time, you don't, take notice of it. I think it's conditioning yourself inside. Any amount of external factors don't make a difference. Over a period of time, I think it comes with a little bit of, hardships that you've gone through and everything. It doesn't happen overnight as well. This is my experience. I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but most people I've spoken to have the same feeling. So somewhere inside, one fine day, it just clicks to you. I'm not going to listen to anyone. It's the conditioning that happens over a period of time that brings you out. I always say this as a joke. I think I self-diagnosed myself with a rare genetic condition called SWG at the age of 13. And everybody wonders what that is. It's called strong woman gene. I think the strong woman gene is in every woman, but it takes time and some kind of, effect or something to trigger that, that comes out naturally. And that's when I think it fully blossoms as a, person who doesn't care, who can come out, do anything you want. And as previously told, I think you need to have a set of mentors, non-judgmental people around you, and also people who will give you, a hard, tight slap if you're doing something wrong. So these kind of people are very important, and that is something that I really enjoy, having people around. And people just have to understand that things don't happen overnight, and just listen to people and make decisions and things like that. But no amount of advice from external side makes a difference. Once the trigger, the SWG comes out, and there is no stopping point. That's how I feel. Thank you.
Excellent. So we're all, one of our to-dos coming out of here is make sure we're all channeling our inner SWG. So
I think the other thing is also to be unapologetically ambitious and not to have that self-doubt, to have the SWG and to say, I've got that gene, but also as part of being unapologetically ambitious is those key learnings that you get with your peers, your mentors. You find a sponsor at your company that is willing to advocate on your behalf and celebrate your successes as you move up that ladder. And also to be able to practice, and I find this empowering for me, is to practice gratitude and graciousness so that you've got those opportunities not only to be and weave the fabric of yourself within your own being, but also to be able to weave that fabric of confidence and learning in other people that you interface with as well.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question, and maybe Barbara, you can kick us off on this next question here. So in your role, obviously you're working with a lot of different customers, a lot of stakeholders within your corporation, and what skills have you seen or common themes that maybe women are lacking, whether that's through your work with your Moderna's customers or within Moderna?
Let me say they tend to be softer, the softer skills.
Okay.
I think it's usually less about, how good they are in terms of, being programmers or analytics. It tends to be basically how they process information, how they respond to a negotiation that isn't going their way, for instance. It has to do with how they think about networking. Lots of us are, and I'll speak obviously about us in this environment as women of color. A lot of us were brought up to be hard workers. Do what you need to do, and you will get recognized. And I still find that that's probably one of the biggest areas of opportunity, is how to understand how to build this. And I think you described it as your own boardroom. How do you really begin to develop advocates, a network of trust, and ultimately a place where you could feel safe and be vulnerable. And that's, to me, really critical. For a long time, I felt like I had to be perfect. And if I didn't show up being perfect, I will not succeed. I believed all I needed to do was do the job. And what I've learned over time and as I've grown is it's okay to say I don't know, right? And it's okay to be comfortable, but it's also as important to be resourceful. So I would say it's the softer skills, learning how to network appropriately. I would argue, on one hand, I could say it'd be great to get a sponsor. I could tell you categorically in my entire career, I have never had an executive sponsor, right? That's probably not true for others, not true for men, and maybe not even true for other women who may not be of color. But understanding how to build that network became my way of ensuring that I was learning the unspoken rules of the organizations where I worked. I was getting a better sense of how to navigate, even though I culturally was not necessarily fitting into all of the things they did, and just knowing when it was time for me to start, looking for other opportunities where I could continue to grow. So that's what I would say.
All right, great. Thank you, Barbara. Linda, anything to add from your perspective of specific skills that you're seeing in the workforce and as you work with your customers that maybe women are lacking?
I don't believe actually women lack the skills from my perspective. In many ways, to certainly weave into what Barbara has said, networking is a contact sport. And you need to not only network very well, but you've also got to look at that board of directors that you create. And from my perspective, I believe women have the emotional intelligence and that ability certainly to negotiate and to look retrospectively as well as forwardly to navigate gender bias and to overcome any of those challenges. Barbara had mentioned soft skills. I believe women have an advantage that we communicate incredibly well, that we're vulnerable, that we trust, that we have that confidence, and that we can be aware to be able to negotiate any of those pinnacles of success and climb those mountains to achieve our goals, as long as we've got the network and the personal board of directors in our backcourt.
Great. Yes. Vidya or Anusha, anything to add from your perspective?
Yeah,
I think all the key points are covered. Go ahead, Anusha. Why don't you take this first?
I just wanted to say, in the perspective of decision making, especially in India, I don't know, in the context in US is a little different. But when women make decisions, they try to stick to black or white. most of the time they want to be very right, and they try to stick to black or white. Sometimes in businesses, grays are okay, and especially in India, it's all gray everywhere. So I find, that is a little, they don't deviate much from the norms, and try to make things work. That is something that I've observed.
Okay, great. And I'm gonna maybe have Vidya, you can kick us off on the next question here. So how do you personally balance your work and life to achieve your goals? I gotta believe in moving into an entrepreneurial world where there's probably no firm start and end to your day. How do you really juggle all of that?
Yeah, this is a really important thing, right? First of all, let me state that during my corporate career, I was one of those people that was commuting to Manhattan every day, right, from a suburb. So more than 3 hours in a day goes in commute. It was a very hectic schedule. And just like most of you, I have a family, I have 2 girls. And this was a challenge. And this is something I've had to learn over time to do, right? So one thing that is a starter for this is to understand that not all day is going to be the same, right? So one day your work is more important, another day your family, another day your health. So every day is a prioritization exercise, and understanding at a macro level that we need to draw boundaries, you need to be organized. Those are some things I've learned. And the biggest takeaway for me over the years has been managing and taking care of my own well-being. So whether it's my mental well-being or physical well-being, it took me years to understand that that is the most important thing, and it's the foundation for everything else we do in our lives. So once you kind of get that, and I think this is a very personal thing, right? So work-life balance that looks one way to me may not be, it's not one size fits all, right? Everyone has to find their own balance. But there are certain non-negotiables, and I think personal well-being is at the top, is number one for me. And I almost feel like everything else kind of falls into place once you figure that part out.
Yeah, and as I say, and when you hear the safety video on airlines, not that we're all traveling that much, but put on your oxygen mask first before you help
Exactly.
others. So I think that's very true. Linda, what about you? How do you manage work-life balance throughout your career?
I believe I weave in work-life balance, right? So one of the things every day is I look in the mirror and I say, I give my permission to. And that's the first thing. The second thing is I always say I am, I can, and I will. And you always have to nourish yourself before you can nourish anyone else. And when you're integrating your work and your life, you have to look at what seeds can I grow for myself that I can then flourish for other people. And so when I'm looking at how I balance every Friday, and it's a trick that I've done for years, is I block off Fridays to play catch up on anything from the week and plan my next week. And I step back and I assess and I plan and I look and I say, what have I done well this week? What have I not done well? And how am I going to improve upon that for the next week? One of the things I do at the start of every year as well in terms of work life is I create 3 goals, 3 professional goals, 3 personal goals. And I open that envelope at the end of the year to see what have I achieved, why have I achieved it, and how am I going to leverage what I've learned over the year and put that into the next year as part of my key learnings and impact positively on other people.
Wow. So it sounds like you are very planful and disciplined. So I can certainly learn from that and intentional. In an interest of time, I'm gonna, I think we will have time for one more question. And maybe Barbara and Anusha, you can take these as we wrap it up here. In your view, why is it important for women to become entrepreneurs at the present time? Barbara, I think you mentioned, obviously you're working at Moderna, but I thought I heard you say that you also are kind of an entrepreneur on the side. So
Yes.
I'd love to hear your perspectives of why specifically you think it's important for women to pursue entrepreneur opportunities.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, right, this world is made of both men and women. I'll start. So, if nothing at all, right? I think it's a world where we should all have an opportunity. But I think more importantly, if we try to just ladder this up, quite frankly, from a business standpoint, you get to be more inclusive in your design when women play a role in helping create opportunities, right? We have a very different perspective from our male counterparts, and I will not discount their perspectives as well, because what we look to do, at least from my purview and the role I have today, is to build for everyone so that there is universal access to intelligence, universal access to medicines and healthcare, and that's really the way you innovate. So I think it's really important. They're also really a critical part of the economy. As I mentioned earlier, lots of women today are part of an informal economy, and a lot of them, quite frankly, are the breadwinners for their households. So any opportunities that could really help increase financial stability and hopefully future viability for families is critical, and women are a core part of that, right? We're CEOs of the family. So I think it's important personally as well as professionally.
Great. Thank you, Barbara. Anusha, go ahead.
Yeah, I do think that entrepreneurship is a natural phenomenon for women because, we are all experienced in running a household. Everybody, I think, the women are the best in running a household. I think men stumble their way out and they do manage, but, it comes naturally to us. So entrepreneurship is a given fact for any woman. I think they have the skills, no matter, your grandmother or your mother or anybody, I think they have been managing things beautifully at home. And they also have this need. I think need is the necessity, rather, is the important factor for running this. And I think my best example that I've heard is, a Muslim woman who was not allowed to get out of her house. A few women stay back. I had to honor her. And, she was just in this place where, you can just sit down and say, I can't do anything. I'll just be fine just as I am. And in fact, she started making idlis and dosas, like a small eatery at home. And she sells with the help of people outside. She doesn't get out. She has a lot of limitations in her house. In spite of it, she sells all these things and makes up a couple of $100 a day. So this is something that, this example has stuck in my mind, because if somebody like that, with overcoming such, things that we take for granted, can be an entrepreneur and do things, I'm sure every woman can do that. So definitely, I think it's a trait that all women have. And of course, as Barbara said, the GDP of the country, and they can contribute to that. In my political campaign also, I keep talking about that, how much women should be part of the GDP in the country. So, and that, the nationality comes, and, they have to take a part in the bigger picture. So that, I believe, is the necessity for entrepreneurship.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Anusha. And as we're just wrapping it up, maybe we could just do a quick round robin for all panelists. And Linda, if you don't mind, we'll start with you. But just any last words for the aspiring women leaders that are on this call, whether it's in the entrepreneur world or the business world. Maybe it's some best advice that you've recently received or in your career. So what are some of your final words for the women listening today?
Thanks, Suma. Believe in yourself, right? Believe in the power of what you have, who you are, and believe in all of the knowledge that you have amassed in your career, and be willing to share it with rising generations of women, and watch them further shatter the glass ceiling that we are paving the way for them to ensure their success.
Okay, excellent. Barbara?
Well said by Linda. I think that's exactly the same advice I've been given, and probably more important is just remember that you're here for a purpose, right? There is a purpose as to why you're here, and continue to charge forward. That's what I will add to what Linda said.
Okay, great. And then Vidya?
Yeah, I think I would echo what Barbara and Linda were saying, there is a movement now which is happening right across the world. There's more awareness around diversity, especially gender diversity. So to all the women out there, the world is your playground, right? So go after your dreams and make it happen.
Awesome. And then last but not least, Anusha.
Find your SWG. That's all I can say. The strong woman G. Where is it? Just go get it, and that will keep you. You can keep it for life. And I have a request for all the women who, we are all fortunate. There are some women who are fortunate to have made what we have made. But my request is, all of us should either help a few women who don't have that opportunity to be lifted up. So I think that's my request to all the people here today.
Okay, excellent. So, I mean, what words of, great words of advice from you all. And just to wrap it up, and I heard believe in yourself, you have a purpose. The world is really at this unique time, so make it count, and then find your SWG. So we'll leave the audience with those inspiring words. And Hema, we'll turn it back on to you. And thank you very much, Linda, Barbara, Vidya, and Anusha for your time. I think it was a great discussion. And we hope our listeners have found this time very valuable.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Take care.
Thanks.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
What a honest panel. Thanks to all the speakers and Uma for motivating us with such a powerful speech and letting us know how important it is to have a network of support and break the glass ceiling. Sky is the limit, and we are the CEOs of the family. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ernie Precious, and I am a managing partner of the Philadelphians Cricket LLC. Please let me explain. Cricket is a sport played in the summer, just like baseball. It is the second largest sport played in the world, with 2.5 billion followers globally. There are 200,000 registered cricket players across leagues in the United States, and 20 million plus fans of cricket in the US also. 5 million of these fans are subscribers to TV/digital sources for watching cricket being played all over the world. The Philadelphia region has a rich history of playing cricket going back to the 18th century. Even George Washington's soldiers played a game of wickets, as they called it, at Valley Forge in 1778, as they prepared to throw out the Brits. In fact, until the early 1900s, cricket was a major summer sport here, and then along came baseball. I will now fast forward to the present day. The International Cricket Council, known as the ICC, cricket's global governing body based out of Dubai, launched a cricket offensive in the United States in 2017 to reintroduce the sport. $1 billion have been earmarked for future development of the sport over 10 years, and it will include fields, stadiums, academies, a minor league and a major league infrastructure, as well as youth and women's cricket development programs. This is where we, the Philadelphians cricket franchise, come in. We are the sole minor league cricket franchise in the Philadelphia region, and there are 26 other franchises set up throughout the US of A. It is our aim to restore the pride of this wonderful sport at a professional level in the most sports-crazy city in America. Let me digress just a little here. I am an old Brit, as you can probably see and hear. I arrived in the US in 1980, and my hero in those days was Margaret Thatcher. This lady beat all the odds by becoming Prime Minister in a totally male-dominated British Parliament. I now have another hero who sits among you today. Jaisri Chetty is also a managing partner of the Philadelphians Cricket LLC, and as such, she is the only female owner in the entire minor league cricket organization in the US. As a former professional cricketer in India, Jaisri is uniquely well qualified to play a major part in the resurgence of cricket in our country. Back to the business at hand now. We, the Philadelphians, are working hard to find early bird sponsors to support our growth and to tap into the fast-growing cricket market. All of our matches will be televised all over the world through Willow TV and Times of India Group TV and digital channels. And we will also be able to leverage minor league cricket and USA cricket social media reach to enable digital engagement. In short, we have a significant ability to promote sponsors and partners at local and at national levels. I hope that I've been able to maintain your attention and your understanding of what the Philadelphians are trying to achieve in the sport of cricket. I encourage you to talk to Jaisri, who can give you a lot more detail about our plans and our objectives. On behalf of my fellow managing partners of the Philadelphians, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to present to you today, and I sincerely hope that you will have found our story to be of interest to you. Thank you.
My female role model is my Amma because of her compassion and dedication to her family and her determination throughout the years to provide the best life that she could for us while I was growing up.
வணக்கம், என் பேர் ஐஸ்வர்யா அசோக். அனைவருக்கும் மகளிர் தின வாழ்த்துக்கள். நான் எலிசபெத் பிளாக்வெல் பற்றி பேசப் போகிறேன். எலிசபெத் பிளாக்வெல் அமெரிக்காவில் முதல் பெண் மருத்துவர். எலிசபெத் பிளாக்வெல் ஒரு ஆண் கல்லூரியில் படித்தாலும் அவர் வகுப்பில் முதலிடம் பெற்றார். அனைத்து பாலினங்களுக்கு சமத்துவம் ஆதரித்தார். வாழ்நாள் முழுவதும் சுகாதாரம் ஊக்குவித்தார். எலிசபெத் பிளாக்வெல்லினால் எனக்கு மருத்துவர் ஆக ஆசை வந்தது. நன்றி.
Divya is a budding stand-up comedian. She's an actress, a dancer, and a YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel called Exploring Diva. She lives in Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, and is all excited to meet you all and entertain you. I'm all excited and have some laughs. Divya, the stage is all yours.
Can you guys see me? Hello everyone. எல்லாரும் எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? This is me Divya. Thank you so much for that introduction, Hema. நீங்க வந்து நிறைய என்னை பத்தி சொன்னீங்க. Yes, I'm a YouTuber, dancer. But ஹேமா வந்து என்னை வந்து ATEAல நீங்க ஸ்டாண்டப் காமெடி பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு கூப்பிட்டப்போ எனக்கு வந்து தலைக்கால் புரியல. நான் என்ன பண்ணேன், நீங்க வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க, உங்க பார்ட்னர்கிட்ட சொல்லுவீங்க, உங்க ஃபேமிலி கிட்ட சொல்லுவீங்க. அதேதான் நானும் பண்ணேன். நேரா ஓடி போய் என் வீட்டுக்காரத்தை சொன்னேன், மாமா இங்க பாருடா, என்னை வந்து ATEAல வந்து ஸ்டாண்டப் காமெடி பண்ண சொல்லி கூப்பிட்டு இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு. இதே உங்க வீட்டுல என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, பரவாயில்லம்மா, நல்லா பண்ணு, வாழ்த்துக்கள், வாவ் சூப்பர் அப்படின்பாங்க. எங்க வீட்டுல எங்க வீட்டுக்கார சொல்றாரு, ஐயோ நீ பண்ணனா அது ஸ்டாண்டப் காமெடி இல்லடி, ஸ்ட்ரைட் அப் ட்ராஜடின்னா. அங்கேயே முடிஞ்சு போச்சு நம்மளுடைய ஸ்டாண்டப் காமெடியோட கெரியர். எனிவே, தேங்க் யூ so much ஹேமா ஃபார் தட். ஸோ இது வந்து ஒரு எனக்கு வந்து என்னை பத்தி நான் கொஞ்சம் சொல்றேன் உங்களுக்கு. நான் வந்து I don't talk to anybody all day, and then I talk to millions of people, and then I don't talk to anybody all day. It's a weird way to live, right? அதேதான் சேம் வித் டெக்ஸ்டிங். நீங்க வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு மெசேஜ் வந்துச்சுன்னா I reply them within 0.2 seconds. இல்லனா it takes 3 to 5 business days for me to reply. Just a second. One second. Yes, வந்துட்டு ஒரு small distraction. Anyway, I am an immigrant to America. Immigrant, non-immigrant, alien, resident alien, நீங்க எது வேணாலும் சொல்லலாம், fill in the blanks. Okay, so when you are living in a different country, when you have kids in a different country, you are more ambitious for your kids. You are a lot more ambitious for them to do well. In any Indian family, there are 3 career choices. One, சொல்லுங்க யாராவது, என் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் இங்க இருக்காங்க என்ன என்கரேஜ் பண்றதுக்காக. ஒன்னு டாக்டர், ஐடி. எஸ். 2 இன்ஜினியரிங் படிச்சதான் ஐடிக்குள்ள வரும். 3 இல்ல டிஸ்கிரேஸ் டு த ஃபேமிலி, அதாவது ஒரு பெரிய அவமான சின்னமாக கருதப்படுவீர்கள். சோ இதுதான் வந்து 3 கரியர் சாய்ஸ் இன் எனி இந்தியன் ஃபேமிலி. இதே என்னோட லைஃப்ல இட்ஸ் தி ஆப்போசிட். ஏன் அம்மா அப்பா என்கிட்ட சொன்னது நீ ஜஸ்ட் பாஸ் ஆனா மட்டும் போதும்னாங்க. நம்ம அப்படி இல்லையே. ஐ வாண்டட் டு ஸ்டடி இன்ஜினியரிங், வேலைக்கு போகணும், அமெரிக்காவுக்கு வரணும் ஃபார் ஒர்க். ஓகேவா? ஸோ கஷ்டப்பட்டு படித்தேன். +2 படிக்கும் போது நான் என்ன பண்ணேன், எவ்ரி ஈவினிங்ஸ் ஃபார் பிசிக்ஸ் கெமிஸ்ட்ரி டியூஷன், மார்னிங் ஃபார் மேத் டியூஷன். அண்ட் கெஸ் வாட், ஹூ காட் 72 மார்க்ஸ் இன் மேத்? திஸ் கேர்ள். ஏன்னா 72 மார்க்ஸ் அவுட் ஆஃப் 200 மார்க்ஸ். அதாவது ஏதோ குட் ஹார்ட்டட் டீச்சர் என்ன வந்து ஜஸ்ட் பாஸ் பண்ணி விட்டுட்டாங்க. அப்படியே என்னோட இன்ஜினியரிங் அமெரிக்கா போகணும்னு நினைச்சேன் இல்லையா, வேலைக்கு போறதுக்காக. சரின்ட்டு நம்ம வந்து டியூஷன் போனா, என் கூட ஒரு பையன் இருந்தான், பெஸ்ட் ஃப்ரெண்ட். போன் பண்ணி, டேய் விஜய் எனக்கு வந்து போயிடுச்சுடா மேக்ஸ் வந்து, நான் ஜஸ்ட் பாஸ்டா, எந்த இன்ஜினியரிங் காலேஜ்ல எடுத்துக்குவாங்கன்னு போன் பண்ணி அழுகுறேன். அவன் சொல்றான், திவ்யா கவலைப்படா, நான் பிசிக்ஸ்ல ஃபெயில் ஆயிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு. அடவா, நம்ம நிலைமை ஏதோ பரவாயில்லையா இருக்குது அப்படின்னு நினைச்சுக்கிட்டு போனை கட் பண்ணா, எங்க அப்பா உடனே போன் பண்றாரு, கண்ணே அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டியில 500 ரூபாய்க்கு அப்ளிகேஷன் ஃபார்ம் வாங்கிட்டேன் அப்படின்னு. ஐயோ அப்பா, என் மார்க்குக்கெல்லாம் யாரும் அண்ணா யூனிவர்சிட்டியில எந்த இன்ஜினியரிங் காலேஜ்லயுமே சீட்டு கிடைக்காதப்பா, வீட்டுக்கு வாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு வழியா ஏதோ மேக்ஸே இல்லாத ஒரு மைக்ரோபயாலஜி சப்ஜெக்ட் எடுத்து காலேஜை முடிச்சு வேலைக்கு போய் கல்யாணம்னு ஒண்ணு பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க, தேடினாங்க. ஸோ அமெரிக்கா மாப்பிள்ளைய கல்யாணம் வந்து திரும்பி அமெரிக்கா வந்தாச்சு ஒரு வழியா. இங்க வந்து சும்மா இருந்தோமா, நம்ம H4 விசான்னு ஒரு விசால வந்துட்டோம். சும்மா மட்டும்தான் இருந்தா ஒன்னும் பண்ண முடியாது. நல்லா சாப்பிட்டு இப்படி ஆயாச்சு. சரி வெயிட்ட குறைப்பாமேன்னு போய் ஜிம்முக்கு சேர்ந்தாங்க. ஜிம்முக்கு போனோமா, அங்க போனா திருவிழால காணாம போன குழந்தை மாதிரி திருன்னு முழிக்கிறேன். ஏன்னா அது அவ்வளவு பெருசா இருக்கு. மக்கள் எல்லாம் வந்து ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. என்ன பண்றதுன்னே நம்மளுக்கு தெரியல. அதெல்லாம் சொல்லக்கூடாது நீங்க. என்ன பண்றதுன்னு தெரியல. உள்ள போனேன். எல்லா மிஷினுமே வந்து ரொம்ப பிஸியா இருந்துச்சு. நம்மளுக்கு வந்து உள்ள போனா இன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் பார்க்கறதுல போலான்னு பார்த்தா எதுவும் ஃப்ரீயால எல்லாரும் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அப்பதான் வந்து ஒரு மிஷின் ஒண்ணு பார்த்தேன். ஒரு ஆள் வந்து இந்த செஸ்ட் மிஷின் இருக்குல்ல அது பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தான். நான் என்ன பண்ணேன், சரி பாத்துக்கிட்டே இருந்தேன். எப்படா எந்திரிக்கலாம். நம்ம வேற அந்த பாத்துருக்கோமே எல்லா மூவிஸ்லயும் வந்து இதைத்தானே பண்ணுவாங்க ஹீரோஸ் அப்படின்னு வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு, சரி அது எப்படிதான் பண்றாங்கன்னு போய் பாக்கலான்னு பார்த்தேன். அவன் எந்திரிச்சா குடு ஓடி போய் துண்டை போட்டல. அப்புறம் போனவனு போய் உட்கார்ந்து இப்படி முடிச்சு பண்ணவே முடியல. என்னடான்னு பார்த்தா குடமைக்கு பின்னாடி 300 பவுண்டுக்கு வெயிட் போட்டு வச்சிருக்கான். எப்படிங்க எங்களால தூக்க முடியும்? அப்புறம் அந்த கம்பியை எடுத்துட்டு 30 பவுண்டுக்கு மாத்திட்டு அப்புறம் பண்ண அப்புறமா வந்துச்சு. சரின்னு பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருக்கிறேன். திடீர்னு ஒரு ஃபீலிங், குறுன்னு எல்லாரும் நம்மளையே பாக்குற மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. என்னடா இது, ஒருவேளை ஆம்பளைங்களுக்கு மட்டும்தான் இது பண்ணணுமோ, பொம்பளைங்க பண்ணக்கூடாதோ அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஃபீலிங். சரி கஷ்டப்பட்டு முக்கிய ஒரு 10 செட்டை போட்டுட்டு வீட்டுக்கு போய் நல்லா நெய்ய பரபரன்னு ஊத்தி 4 தோசைக்கு சட்னி சாம்பார் வச்சு சாப்பிட்டாதாங்க நிம்மதியா தூக்கமே வந்துச்சு. எதுக்கு ஜிம்முக்கு போனேன்னு கேப்பீங்க. இட்ஸ் ஓகே. சரி வீட்டுக்கு போயாச்சா, இதே வந்து கண்டினியூ பண்ணாங்க. ஒரு மாசத்துக்கு தினமும் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருந்தேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன ஆச்சு, வாரத்துக்கு 5 நாள் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன ஆச்சு, அது 3 நாள் ஆச்சு, அப்புறம் 1 நாள் ஆச்சு, அப்புறம் போகிறது நின்னே போச்சு. சரி என்னடா இது, ஜிம்முக்கு வேற போக முடியல. ஆனா மாசம் மட்டும் காசு கரெக்டா போய்கிட்டே இருக்குது. ஜிம்முக்கு போக மாட்டேங்கிறோம். சரி கேன்சல் பண்ணிடுவோம், ஜிம் மெம்பர்ஷிப்பை கேன்சல் பண்ணிடலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கால் பண்ணேன். ஹலோ, ஐ வுட் லைக் டு கேன்சல் மை ஜிம் மெம்பர்ஷிப் அப்படின்னதுக்கு அவன் சொல்றான், ஓகே தேர் ஆர் 2 ways டு கேன்சல் யுவர் ஜிம் மெம்பர்ஷிப் அப்படின்னா. என்னது 2 ways? I already told you da, cut my membership. I want to get out of this membership. நீ என்ன பண்ணு, cancel my membership நான் சொன்னேன். We are already halfway done da, meet me in the middle மச்சான். அவன் என்ன சொன்னா, no, you have to come in person அப்படின்னா. இன்னது இன் பர்சனா, ஏற்கனவே ஜிம்முக்கு போக முடியாததுனாலதான்டா வீட்டுல உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்கேன், காசு போகுதுன்னு கேன்சல் பண்ணிருக்கேன். எதுக்குடா ஜிம் மெம்பர்ஷிப்புக்கு கேன்சல் பண்ண நான் நேர்ல வேற வரணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, சரி 2வது வழி என்னன்னு கேட்டேன். அதுக்கு அவன் சொல்றான், லெட்டர் எழுதி கொடுக்கணும். லெட்டர் போடுறதா? எந்த காலத்துல இருக்கிறீங்க இப்ப நீங்க லெட்டர் போடுறீங்க? ஜிம்முக்கு லெட்டர் போடணுமா? ஐயோ, உங்களுக்கு யாருக்காவது லெட்டர் எழுத தெரியுமா? உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா? எந்த ஸ்கூல் படிக்கும் போது லெட்டர் எழுதுனது நம்ம. சரின்னு போய் உட்காந்து கூகுள்ல தேடினேன், ஹவு டு ரைட் லெட்டர். போட்டோன்னே வந்துருச்சு, டெம்ப்ளேட்டா வந்துருச்சு. ஹலோ, நீங்களும் அதைத்தானே பண்ணுவீங்க. சரி போங்க. டியர் ஜிம் மெம்பர், சாரி டியர் ஜிம், I feel we have come to an end, to part ways. Although your chest machine was challenging, please let me out. I called you one day to cancel cancel my membership. Thank you sincerely, திவ்யான்னு போட்டு முடிச்சிட்டேன். லெட்டரை எழுதி முடிச்சாச்சு. இப்போ இந்த லெட்டரை நான் அனுப்பணும். அதுக்கு என்வலப் கவர் வாங்கணும். அது வாங்கணும்னா நான் ஸ்டேபிள்ஸோ சிவிஎஸ்கோ போகணும். சரி எப்படி போலாம் என்னன்னு பார்த்தா, அந்த ஸ்டேபிள்ஸ் போறதுக்கு நான் ஜிம்மை தாண்டி தான் போகணும். இதுக்கு நான் நேர்லயே போய் கேன்சல் பண்ணிடுவேனேடா, எதுக்கு நான் ஒரு லெட்டர் வாங்குறது, லெட்டர் அனுப்புறதுக்கு என்வலப் வாங்க போகணும் அப்படின்ட்டு போனா, சரி கடையில போய் ஒரு லெட்டர் என்வலப் கொடுறா, லெட்டர் போடணும்னு நான் கேட்டதுக்கு, 1 எல்லாம் கொடுக்க முடியாது, 25 இருக்கிற ஒரு பேக்கேஜ் தாங்க கொடுக்க முடியும். நான் சரின்னு வாங்கிட்டு வந்தேன். ஒரு லெட்டர் போடுறதுக்கு 25 என்வலப் எதுக்குங்க? சரி அது வாங்கியாச்சு. அது கிடக்கும். என்னோட சில்ட்ரன்ஸோட என்னோட தலைமுறையே வச்சு யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். அந்த அளவுக்கு என்வலப் இப்ப என்கிட்ட வந்துருச்சு. போட்டு அமிச்சாச்சு. என் பேர குழந்தைகள் எல்லாரும் பேசுவாங்க பிற்காலத்துல, டேய் ஒன் டே வந்து நம்ம கிராண்ட் மதர் வென்ட் டு ஸ்டேபிள்ஸ் வித் ஃபுல் ஆன் ரேஜ் brought back this package of envelope so we can all cancel our membership da அப்படின்னு. Thank you so much guys, you've been a wonderful listeners, and that's all. This is me Divya. Follow me on Explore Diva on YouTube and Clubhouse. ஒரு விஷயம் நான் சொல்ல மறந்துட்டேன். Women can do anything. Women can launch and scale. Okay, not laugh. Launch and scale 6, 7, 8-figure businesses. We can end up as congresswomen in White House and also President of America. Thank you, guys.
தேங்க்ஸ் திவ்யா. 100% அக்ரீட். என் லைஃப் இப்படிதான் போயிட்டு இருக்கு. ஆக்சுவலா கொஞ்ச நாளா பேண்டமிக்ல இப்படிதான் போயிட்டு இருக்கு. தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். I welcome Usha, one of the sponsors for the event, to come on stage to talk about her business. Usha, the stage is all yours.
Hi, அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம் and happy Women's Day to all the women and all the women entrepreneurs here who are conducting this ATEA Women's segment today. Awesome job. It was just amazing programs one after another. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be a sponsor here. First, I would just like to say a few words, right? What is women empowerment? Women empowerment in my mind is a mindset. The mindset starts from within, amongst all of us, this adorable, beautiful women here. It starts within us, where we want to do something for our own sanity, right? And second thing is having an environment around us to be able to do what we want to do based on our mindset, correct? So it starts with the family, a small unit, and then with the society and the community. And I congratulate ATEA for doing an amazing job to make sure that environment is being created, which is already there, and to make sure that they are supporting it and giving this platform for women out there who are already entrepreneurs or who want to be or want to do something about themselves. So that is awesome. And again, one more thing is women, entrepreneurship or anything, liberation, all those things are nothing to do with any competition with the spouse, or we are as a family unit, we want to do something for the betterment of the family as well as our own self. With that said, I just want to tell my own story, where 20 plus years ago when I came into this country, my kids were small, and it was an understanding between me and my husband that, while he's traveling for business, I would want to prioritize motherhood and enjoy that. So I chose a vehicle where I could have independence and flexibility and still be able to work for my own sanity. My background is I'm an attorney. I did my Master's of Law from New York Cardozo Law School, and I've been working with New York Life for the past 18 plus years. So initially, when the family needed me and I wanted to be with my kids, I started off as an advisor with flexibility and independence with a Fortune 100 on my resume. And when the right time came, I moved into compliance. I was heading the standards and compliance for New York Life, New Jersey office for almost 8 years. And then I decided to be part of the senior management. So here I am, senior partner within 18 years with New York Life, a Fortune 100, who amidst the pandemic celebrated their 175th year, declaring their second highest profit in the history of the company. And with all the benefits and everything, it's a great opportunity for everyone out there who, similar to me, are looking for a platform, a career opportunity to start somewhere. I know there's a mixed group here, right, who are already in the workforce, who are trying to look for the next elevation. And there are some people where, due to visa things and their own individual situations, they are looking for a break because they've been homemakers for a while because of the visas and the family commitments, and now they want to start somewhere. So then here is the opportunity. I am a senior partner with New York Life, and I am hiring right now talent across the tri-state, where with the virtual world we have now, we have all the trainings, everything happening online. So if you or your friends or anyone who are interested to do something for yourself and have that economic independence, right, that gives you a lot of confidence, right, and for your own sanity, please contact me at 732-762-8826, or you could email me at ukrishnak@newyorklife.com, and we can explore a career opportunity with a Fortune 100 company with all benefits. Thank you again very much, Malini and Mahendran, Raj, all of you all. Really appreciate what you're doing for the community. It is all about what together we can
make the change to the community, right? In my team, though I have around 45 plus who I recruited and mentoring, out of that, 48 people are women. So in fact, New York Life calls me the women empowerment team of New York Life. So that is a blessing. And if you would like to be part of that, you're welcome. Let's start. All right. Thank you very much. And wonderful program. Hats off to everybody who did this today. Thank you.
Vice President Kamala Harris is a big inspiration on me, and she's basically a big inspiration on everyone because she's the first woman of color to become the Vice President of the United States of America. This is a huge step for all of us because it shows that if you work hard and be kind, you can achieve your biggest dreams.
Thank you, Usha, and thank you all. Now we are here for the much awaited panel, the investment opportunities and networking panel. When women support each other, incredible things happen. Here we have a panel that wants to educate us on networking skills, pitching, and investment opportunities. We have Malini Das, who will moderate the panel. Malini, welcome. Malini Das is an engineer. She's an entrepreneur, enterprise asset management specialist, and a community volunteer with over 20 years of experience working for large and small enterprises in various industries. In 2018, Malini joined with her husband Mukul Das in starting Snuggle to bring together the passion for STEM. She works as a functional lead at Amtrak. She's a service coordinator for SSIO and organizes food drives, serves at the community kitchen in and around Delaware and Pennsylvania. Welcome, Malini.
Thank you, Hema. Thanks for the introduction. We have an awesome panel to talk about the investment. I am pleased and honored to introduce the investment panelists. We have Jayashree Chetty. She is a leader in digital transformation and omnichannel customer engagement and analytics. She has built her career in digital analytics and digital transformation solutions over the period of 20 years. She is also an entrepreneur driven to solve grand challenges with innovation. She is the founder of successful companies like Manam Group of Restaurants, the Flying Eagles Logistics, Organic, and Manam Foods. With her professional cricket experience, playing for highest level of women's cricket, she has represented Southern Railways and Madras University. She is one of the owners of the Philadelphians cricket team. Jayashree is a foundation member of the Montgomery County Community College, and also she founded the education trust S Education. Jayashree will be presenting on networking. Next, I am honored to introduce our next panelist, Deepa Sudhakar. Deepa is an experienced consulting expert from a Big Four. Deepa Sudhakar has a vast understanding of business needs, strategizing its direction, and identifying initiatives to attain collective goals. She has an MBA from Anna University, India, and multifaceted corporate experiences globally, which has enabled her to perform and specialize in many areas. Deepa looks forward to transform the retail business world. Her mission is to help develop new and existing entrepreneurs to unfold their full potential for career enhancement, business progress, and expansion. Welcome, Deepa. Our next panelist is Hema. Yelankani Raj is an Associate Director of Architecture at IQVIA, leading one of big data technologies. She is also a real estate investor and top agent at Keller Williams Exton. She believes in giving back to the community and volunteers in many non-profit organizations, including the local Tamil Sangams. She is a 10 miles Philadelphia Broad Street runner and loves to dance. She has performed Tamil traditional dances like Mailatam, Oilatam, and Parayat Fetna. Welcome, everyone. So I'm asking Jayashree, her focus for today is to present on networking. So we will start the investment panel by Jayashree's presentation on networking. Then we would go with Deepa, who has some more exciting news for us to share, and then to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Malini, for such a nice introduction. And good morning to everyone. Good evening if somebody is joining from India. I know a lot of people joined a little early. Thanks for all the participation. I think I wanted to start talking about networking, but I was hearing the panelists and the keynote speakers as well, and a lot of times it came up, how women need to network, how women need to start collaborating and showcasing their skills much better. It came up when Dr. Arkush mentioned that we do have collaborative skills, but we don't usually showcase it really well. Barbara spoke about it, and even Ms. Kasoti, when she was talking, she was saying networking is a contact sport. So it is a really important facet of growing and developing in our career and our business. So if I draw upon from my own experience, I have witnessed that, once I started, actively networking and connecting with my mentors and enablers, I was able to grow much faster. So let me share a small presentation that I just put together. Malini, let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So this quote actually resonated with me very much. It says, it's not it's not what you know or who you know, but who actually knows you that determines your success. And in fact, I would like to add a little bit more to that and say it's not just who knows you, but do they know what you can do? So that also is very important to determine how success is, enabled for women, for all of us. So if I move on, why is networking so important? I think it has been discussed in some extent. So I would, try to recap. Firstly, human beings, we are social animals, and we thrive upon personal connections and associations. So logically, if you think of it in business as well, it's the same pattern, and almost 80% of business decisions and engagement happens based on relationships. And people work with you better if they know that they can trust you, and they can partner with you. So in short, if you do not network, you're losing out. So but networking is not all about getting getting back. It is about how you can give and pay forward, what you can contribute to others, to your industry, to your community. So it is equally as much as about how you engage and add value to your peers and the larger community. And as it's written, how do we pay it forward? How do we add value to every interaction? Some small tips that I wanted to share is networking and is all about mindset, and there's a very interesting book by Carol Dweck on mindset, and it says in a growth mindset, how challenges are rather exciting and not threatening, and you might use it for use it not to just grow your chances, but many of us, we think of it as it will reveal our weaknesses, but if you flip it around and see how it can increase your chances to grow. And a few other smaller tips in terms of how you can start networking is, don't be selective in building your network. Interact with as many people as possible. Stay in touch with people. And one key tip is, when you're interacting or connecting with them, don't go with an favor to ask. If you're seen as somebody who's connecting genuinely, you get better reception. And attend events as much as possible. Example is this event. I learned so much from this event today. So be on time, show your support to people you are interacting with. Try to give it a personal touch, right? If you're connecting with somebody, write a small thank you note or a small memento or a gift, which will go a long way. And it is extremely important that we let people know that we appreciate them, appreciate their time, and value them, and acknowledge their contribution. So it's also about making time for that networking. How do you connect with people? It's said that there's a number, like, if you can connect with at least one new contact every week, or rekindle and start connecting with at least 30 to 40 of your connections every month, you're networking actively. And in ATEA also, there's a lot of resources and enablement that they are doing in the networking space to help us. Some of these are like the formal networking events, regional conferences like the Women's Day conference, and there are several other conferences that ATEA conducts. Connection with businesses and startups are being enabled. There are several referral networks of trusted professionals across different industries and backgrounds that you can tap into. And there's also a mentor connect. If you want to connect with some leader and get mentored, ATEA enables that. So I would urge all of you to take advantage of these resources and start networking and growing in your personal careers and in your businesses. Good luck.
Thank you, Jayashree. That was a great presentation. It's about the importance of networking. Don't be selective. Appreciate people. Those go a long way in any of the, in anything that we do. So that was very nice. So I have a few questions for you. With your experience, how do you define the power of networking and the value add to an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to drop on a person who inspired me and who showed through example how networking can, open doors and open new opportunities. His name is Craig Scribner. He is a founder and CEO of emeritus CEO of a company called Clara One. And I've known Craig for the last maybe 8 years or so, and I've seen how he started this company, and now it's $1 million company. It has been vested, and he's moved on to founding several other companies. And what I learned from him is how he can connect with so many diverse people, and when he connects, he's looking at how can I help. That is the first thought that he has, and he genuinely means that. You can see from this interaction, and I learned that from him, and I try to use that in my interaction with other people. How you can bring that genuinity and that honesty into your interaction with others, and what can you do as a value addition to them. So that goes a long way. And again, from my own personal experience, I recently got back into cricket. I used to play cricket a long time back, but with the Philadelphians, I got involved. And after maybe 15, 20 years, I'm reaching out to a few of my ex-cricket contacts, and I was so amazed at how welcoming they are to connect with you. And this has actually opened a lot of avenues and doors for us. And I can say that from my personal experience.
That's a great, a thing to go back and, just reach out. So that's one of the skills. You don't shy away. That's one of the things we even heard, talking today, that do not shy away, go reach out. So networking, yes, it's definitely one of the most important things. Another question I have is, what are the key areas to focus for improving networking skills?
So I think, as Dr. Arkush also already said, I think women all, we all are collaborative by nature, right? We can interact. We are good communicators. But how do we actively do it for ourselves? How do we engage? How do we be more confident when we are talking to our peers, or the connections that we are making? That is extremely important. That's an area that we should focus on. And how another important aspect is, how do we bring value to every conversation? Can we add something new? Can we connect them with some resources, or connect them with another person who are going to enable our contacts? I think that's a really good way to go about networking. And recently I was reading a book called Who Not How. That also talks about how we can use resources and people to connect better. We know, all of us know how to do something, but certain times it is that who that is a differentiator. Who can enable you, who can open the door for you, will be a key enabler.
That's very important, right? Who can help you, and that you are going to find out by your reach out, by making sure you have your networking skills and use that, find out, and that's how it's a growth mindset, and that's how it's going to help you grow in the business.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to have Deepa come on next. Hi, Deepa.
Hi, wonderful, Jayshree. Good to hear about networking. Hi, Malini.
Hi. So I just wanted to start with asking you, can you please share us about your journey?
Sure.
Do you have a slide you wanted to share, Deepa?
Yes.
You can add it, and then we can share it here.
Are you seeing my screen?
Not it. Okay, you can. Are you able to share?
Yes, ma'am. Can you see it now?
One second. No, not yet. Yeah, we can see it now, Deepa.
All right. So I'm going to be talking on behalf of Kapiludi, and just some quick information about me. As you rightly mentioned, Malini, I come with about 18 years of global consulting experience, completely in a different arena to what I'm doing right now. I was in the regional conference in the month of September with ATEA, a very interesting one. And I would like to share my journey from then on, what happened since September 2020. I founded Nangahittu along with my colleague from a Badaga tribal community from Ooty, specializing in Badaga tribal food. We started this restaurant as a service to bring back the forgotten tribal foods. I'm sorry, there's a spelling mistake there. And we were also featured in a nationwide article. Very much pleased about some positive reviews coming in the Hindu News article. I also have taken charge as Chief Operating Officer for Askura Infra Private Limited, where we do property management and business development, and also increasing the revenues of properties that are kept idle. So we are running about 5 mini malls, and we have also taken over some of the lands in promoting retail spaces on a revenue sharing basis. And the third part, very interestingly, I co-founded Kapi Reddy along with the team. I presented Kapi Reddy in my previous meeting, and have some very exciting news to share about Kapi Reddy. So what Kapi Reddy does, it's a chain of coffee outlets, first time globally with 4 legendary filter coffees, serving 4 legendary filter coffees. We have Kongu, Madras, Kumbakonam, and Coorg. Not everyone likes the same flavor of coffee, so we have given that variation and taste. When we first met in September 16, we were with one outlet, with a flagship outlet of Kapi Reddy opening. And then now where we stand is, we are 6 outlets operational right now, and all of it on profits. That's very good to know. And 5 outlets which are ongoing. So we will be around 12 in another couple of weeks in just Coimbatore, India. We have also taken the step to expand Bangalore, and we are launching 2 outlets in the Koramangala area of Bangalore. And we are targeting towards 100 plus outlets by end of next year. And the third part is something that I would like to talk about in detail, is about expansion of our outlets to Madurai, Trichy, Salem, Erode, and Tirupur. These are the key hubs that we wanted to focus this year, going in for a master franchisee kind of a setup. So now we have an investment opportunity with Kapi Reddy. And why should somebody invest in Kapi Reddy here? We have gained a reputation in a very, very short span. The Coimbatore Food Group has rated us the 4th best place in Coimbatore to have good filter coffee, and that's definitely a credit to us. And all our investments are lower and with lower risks. So we have one of the ATEA members also investing in Kapi Reddy outlet franchisee. And we have about 4 investors in the US investing in Kapi Reddy franchisee, where we manage the outlet here, and they manage the outlet virtually. We have given them a very good experience. And all the outlets, we are focused in managing it on a FICO model, which is franchisee invested and company operated, to upkeep the quality of the outlet. And as I told you, we're looking at expansion to the larger area. Now, the investment opportunity, I just want to get straight into it. The investments that we are looking out right now is for a district master franchisee. So when I say a district master franchisee, we are looking at opening over 25 outlets with approximately 50 lakhs investments. And 2 of the outlets will be given to the master franchisee itself, which values to about 20 lakhs INR. And the other 23 outlets will be given to other franchisees, wherein the master franchisee will be able to take benefit out of the franchisee fee, and also getting revenues out of the operations of the business. I have shared a Excel spreadsheet within the deck. I will be sharing it to the team today. You can go over the simulation that we have done in terms of the expenses and the revenues that we anticipate, right from the lowest sale up to the higher sale that we anticipate in each of these outlets. And the revenues that the master franchisee would see through is majorly from the 2 owned outlets, and from the franchisee fee of 1 lakh each from each of the outlets. So basically they get back the 20 lakhs out of the 50 lakhs. And on a continuous revenue sharing, operating the outlets on the FICO model, wherein we estimate about 5,000 to 17,000 per outlet per month. So which comes around 5 lakhs per month. So if you look at the return on investments, we don't see anything longer than 2 years of that 50 lakhs invested. And most of the amount that's invested is secured because it's going to be got back in terms of franchisee fee. So what we will be doing is, any franchisee requests come out of that request will be routed through the master franchisee, irrespective of the business coming through the master franchisee or coming through us. Any outlet open in that district will belong to the master franchisee. That's what we have put in our investment model into. How we support the master franchisee is basically setting up the outlets, and we also manage the operations of the outlet completely, take care of supply of raw materials, and also manage the marketing and lead generation for franchisee inquiries. Now, what is expected out of outlet? Basically, a minimum of 100 square feet to 200 square feet, that's sufficient. Our smallest outlet here in Coimbatore is 80 square feet outlet, which is making the maximum revenues when compared to all other outlets. And from the employee perspective, we would need about 2 to 4 employees. And Copy Ready menu is basically, trainable in 3 days. Anyone can come get trained. There is no specific skills required. And all the SOPs are flowed through from the corporate office. So all of it is process set. Franchisee support, we just spoke about it. So yes, we are entrepreneurs too, and we are looking at creating new entrepreneurs. So basically, when I used to be working in the US, I tell the story out to everyone. Most of the time, I'm working with a company. I always wanted to start a business, but the only hindrance I had is, how much I would be able to contribute and how much I would be able to look through the business in detail. So we wanted to, break this barrier, especially with people outside the country. So we want to give them this opportunity of owning a business, running a business, being a business owner at the same time, continuing what they're currently doing. That's exactly where we come in support with. Now, talking about the Women's Day, yes, we celebrate women at Copy Ready. We have this program called Face of Copy Ready, wherein we provide a lot of part-time jobs for homemakers, create an opportunity for them to earn. One such colleague is Abhirami here. And we also have an outlet completely run by women. And the franchisee is another ATEA member, and who is also a woman. And this outlet is completely women managed outlet. A very proud moment here. And we also create income opportunities for students. So Ennam Pol Valkai is our tagline for Copy Ready. And the person whom you're seeing here, Padmini, is a school topper, college topper, but she needs financial assistance to pursue further. And we've given her opportunities and also flexible timings for her to work with Copy Ready. Now, meet my team. I've been greatly supported by men around. They've been my strength, with a lot of mentoring around. And these people come with a lot of experience. So we have Rajesh Kirti, previously heading KFC South India with a lot of retail experience, and also rest of Tamil Nadu heading Reliance. And our CFO is also a director. And Satyan also comes with a lot of hospitality background, who is also the COO of Copy Ready. About the investment opportunities and how you would go about in making the investments, we provide the legal support in India, and also available options, basically to how legally that you would be able to invest and repatriate that money back into the US or use that money back here. We provide legal consulting along with the professional team. And we also provide taxation advice. We have a set of auditors, certified auditors, who provide taxation advice for NRIs investing in our business. So just to let you know, there is double taxation avoidance agreements between India and the United States, and this is a very good news to start looking at investments in India. And this is all about the investment detail that I have on Capiridi. I know it's a lot of information to digest. I'll be sharing this information to all of you. You could still read it. And coming back to Nangu Hittu, I would like to share one story here. So my chef is Uma. Basically, she was a homemaker who hasn't seen the outside world for about 45 years in her life. She's always been at home, taking care of the children and all that. And when we were featured on the Hindu newspaper, it was with the photographs and all that. Until then, she wouldn't just come out of the kitchen. She used to always be in the kitchen, cooking food, awesome, delicious food, but she wouldn't show her face off. But once the Hindu covered her, and she became a celebrity in her community, and now she's come out and she's been mentoring other home-based people to start coming out and working outside, and that's the empowerment we've given, and we will continue to give as part of my business. Thank you so much. Over to you, Hema. So Malini, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Deepa. That was really very good detailed plans that I have seen. And first of all, thank you for like a support to the community. You're inspiring with, the inspiring schemes that you have in Nampol Market. That's really, that caught me. That was very touching. It's not just being an entrepreneur is not just making money, but also the impact that you have on your community. And I'm very glad that you have given us all the, it's very detailed investment plan, and we have the deck, and we would definitely share. And I think even I'm all inspired to have one.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm a coffee fan, and then the way you have the business laid out, the master plans, and all this is very, very encouraging for anybody to invest on a business, to have that knowledge, to see that, upfront what it is going to give me. And you have covered almost every base for any entrepreneur looking into, invest in this. Really good luck with everything, and congratulations on starting all these franchisees and the new models.
Thank you. And just to let you know, Kapiredi is usually affordable by all the class of people, basically because our pricing is just at 20, a quality coffee at just 20, and you don't even get that in the street shops these days. So that's inspired a lot of other people too. Yeah.
That's true. Having Kumbaganam, Kurg, and every other variety, that's all. As a coffee lover, you go there and you can find all these different varieties. That's something that's very encouraging. Thank you so much.
We're also exploring and starting the kiosks model in the US. Maybe in the next meeting, I should be able to share more information on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Looking forward, Deepa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manu. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Bring on Hema. Hi, Hema.
Hi, Malini. How are you doing? You're doing great with all this technical work behind.
Yeah. Thank you, Hema. As a real estate, you being an expert and an agent, I have a few questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is with the current market, is it a good idea to invest in real estate, and why?
Yes, I would say a big yes. There are various reasons behind it. One thing is the interest rate is historically low right now. Um, the inventory of the houses on the market is really low, which means there are multiple offers on a particular house. So if you are a owner of a house and you would like to list your home, you would get multiple offers, and the price on the house will go a little bit higher. But if you're an investor as a buyer, you buy the house, and a couple of years from now, or 2 or 3 years from now, your house price would have appreciated a lot. So, which means you have built a lot of equity on the house. And another thing is the interest rate is really low. when compared to what we had a couple of years back. I remember for the investment homes, real estate investment homes, a couple of years back it was like 4.5%, or even sometimes people would go in for 5.2% on an investment home, and they would make for like a small home for like 150K, they would make like $300-400. But with the same investment right now, with a historical low interest rate, they could make $600 to $700 per month. So it's a very, very good market to invest in real estate. Another thing is, like, I know like people like to invest in stocks, but in stocks, the problem with stocks is the interest rate goes. I mean, the output of stocks is either high or it's low. So the risk is more in there. You either save a lot of money or you lose a lot of money with stocks. But with residential real estate investment, that is not the case, right? Um, you kind of balance, but with the interest rate being very low at this market, it's a very good idea to invest in real estate. Yes.
That's true, Hema. This one of the time we have, very record number of, homes out there, and the people are willing to buy at this time. The interest rate is really low, and it's a good opportunity. Your interest rates are going to be low, and it's one of the best time to invest. Thank you for that. I have one more question. Has the pandemic impacted the way you do real estate business?
Not really, not really. Actually, I would, during the pandemic, I was still writing multiple offers and I was still listing homes. The reason behind is when the governor actually, in many of the states in Pennsylvania, Delaware, the government, when the pandemic hit, there was a lockdown, right? During that time, people were allowed to see the homes online. They could see the homes online. And I could see there were some sellers who were very desperate in selling their homes because they have already bought another home they have to move in. They would let the buyers go in, provided they followed all the protocols that is needed during the pandemic, right? So even during that time, I remember writing offers. People were comfortable seeing the homes online because they wanted the homes, and the interest rate was very less, and the stocks were also very low. There are not many homes in the market, right? So that kind of kept the market kind of hot itself. I was still writing, offers, and people were settling in, and everything was happening good. Even like as we were moving through this pandemic, right? As we were all getting used to the pandemic, used to the masks, right? Having gloves, masks, hand sanitizers. So people got used to. They were more safe, right? They were comfortable. They were comfortable to go out and look for homes, and the sellers were also comfortable to list their homes because they were okay with people coming in because they're going to follow the protocol. They're going to have the masks. They're going to disclose that they don't have COVID. So they were following all the protocols in there. So even during the pandemic, the market was really doing good, and people really wanted to take advantage of the interest rate. So if with the interest rate that they have, even if the prices were a little bit higher because of the multiple offer situation, they would still, their monthly principal and interest that they would pay for the same house a couple of years back is way less when they pay it now with the interest rate. So they still see the advantage as an investor, and they also look at it at a longer term, right? So the investors is always not just looking at the current market, they also look at the longer run of it. And they would really see that they would make more money when they invest in the real estate market. As the number of years progresses, the equity on the homes also builds up. So if they were to sell the house, they would make more money out of it as well. So investing in real estate, even during this pandemic season, is a very great idea.
Thank you, Hema. That's awesome. Thank you. I think we are good with the panel right now, and we are going for our final part of our presentation. Thank you, everyone. So I'm here to introduce Janani Ramachandran. Hi, Janani. Janani Ramachandran is a Bay Area attorney who is running for California State Assembly. Janani has personally seen through her many years of service work with domestic violence victims that too many laws intended to protect victims actually end up harming them. Instead of simply complaining, Janani wants to take action and bring a spirit of innovation and fearlessness into California politics. If elected, Janani would be California's first Indian American Assemblywoman. In fact, no Indian American woman other than Kamala Harris has held any major leadership role in California state government. Janani is a graduate of Stanford University and Berkeley Law. She is well known in Oakland because of her leadership role as an Oakland Public Ethics Commissioner, as a California Commissioner on Asian Pacific Islander American Affairs, and as a board director at several nonprofits. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. So thank you for that introduction. Oh, can you hear me? Yes. Hi. Vanakkam romba nandri. My name is Janani Ramachandran, and as introduced, I am running for California State Assembly in District 18. If elected, I would be California's first ever Indian American Assemblywoman. And as mentioned, no Indian American woman, let alone a Tamil woman, has held leadership in California state government other than Kamala Harris. So today, I want to take a couple of minutes to tell you why I'm pursuing this vision of running for state level office and how you can join me in making that dream a reality. Firstly, my roots began before I was born. I owe everything I have to my family. My maternal grandparents immigrated to New York City in the 1970s, and my dad, who came to college in the United States for the 80s. They worked tirelessly to give me all of the opportunities that they never have, and I'm grateful for them as I launch this journey. So I was born in Fremont, California. My journey into public service began at age 8 when I launched the first of what would be many fundraisers for victims of the Gujarat earthquake. At age 16, I moved to Bangalore for a few years with my family, and I founded a nonprofit that set up libraries in underprivileged schools and led reading sessions with local children every week. My mother always told me, you see these problems around you and you complain about them. What are you going to do about them? So what I have always aimed to do is see something that I don't like and address it head on, come up with solutions and think about these issues as a whole. So I returned to California, graduated from Stanford, and then began working closely with survivors of domestic violence for a few years. I personally saw the many, many injustices they faced in our legal system in the United States, which is not just and not fair. Too many laws that were set up to support protect victims of violence actually ended up harming them. So again, I found this problem and I wanted to do something about it. So I thought, let me start and go to law school. I attended Berkeley Law, where I studied the law, but I was also constantly working with people in need in my own communities. I worked with people experiencing domestic violence, mental health crises, and people experiencing homelessness. I quickly realized that the way in which I wanted to use my voice and make a difference for vulnerable people was not so much through practicing the law, but writing better laws. And that's what I want to do now, write better laws that serve all of us. So I sought out several leadership positions. I served as a commissioner on the City of Oakland Public Ethics Commission. I currently serve as a commissioner on the California Commission for Asian Pacific Islander Affairs, and I joined the board of a few domestic violence nonprofits. But that level of leadership, while it was interesting, wasn't enough for me because I know that California is experiencing a crisis of extreme levels, from climate disasters to an explosive housing market to poorly funded public schools. We are simultaneously the wealthiest state in the country with the highest rate of poverty. So I want to take action now and bring a spirit of innovation and fearlessness into California politics. Our state government is deeply inefficient, wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money on bureaucratic processes and systems that are not serving us. And our state government is even in many cases corrupt. So I promise to bring my ethics and my values and my personal understanding of some of the deep problems that impact our communities, including domestic violence. I promise to bring my understanding of the law to come up with impactful solutions that serve us all. But my advocacy will not stop at California. California is the incubator for innovative ideas that other states follow. The solutions that we implement on climate change, on homelessness, on job creation, and more historically have spread to other states and even Congress and the federal government. So today, I ask you to join me on this journey. My election, which just 3 days ago I found out is a special election, is happening in just 90 days. This is an open seat and there are many players in this game already, but I am determined to come out on top. Funding is urgent because in just 90 days, I need to spread the word about my race to my district, which has 500,000 people. I need to print materials, post online ads, hire field staff, and so much more. We need to get people to turn out to vote during a special election, which is going to be a challenge. So my team believes that it is going to cost $250,000 to run a winning campaign. In just the first 3 weeks, I have raised $80,000, and I need your support in helping me get to my goal. I'm going to post a link to my page, my contribution page in the chat. I would love if you could consider making a contribution of $200 and of course more if you're able to. If we can do this, we can elect California's first Indian American Assemblywoman. If we can do this, we can be represented in government in the way that we deserve. Thank you for inviting me to be here, and thank you for being leaders in your own world. Romba Nandri.
Thank you, Janani. Very nice speech. And again, good luck with your campaign. Best wishes for your election. And we all stand with you. All your thoughts, ideas resonate with, most of it's very inspiring to hear you talk. And definitely best wishes for you. Thank you so much. We got your link and we will use that. Thank you so much and best wishes.
Thank you.
I now invite Jayashree to for the vote of thanks. Hi Jayashree, welcome back.
Jayashree, you are on mute.
Sorry, my bad. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. I know the day is starting in the West Coast, and thanks, Janani, for that inspiring speech. We wish you all the best in your running. And good evening to viewers who are joining us from India. Thanks a lot. And thanks to all the speakers and dignitaries who joined today. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver this vote of thanks, especially the esteemed guests and the speakers we had in this morning. And the words of wisdom that they shared has inspired all of us. And it'll push us to reach beyond and achieve greater heights. I would like to thank our keynote speakers, the Honorable Senator of Pennsylvania State, Senator Maria Collette, for taking time from a busy schedule to join us today. Thanks to the Honorable Commissioner of Montgomery County, Dr. Valerie Arkush. Our gratitude and appreciation to Ms. Pramila Srinivasan, CEO of Charm Health, for her inspiring words and presence. Our speakers in the Celebrate panel made the session so much fun and informative. Thanks to Dr. Dakshayani Balakrishnan, Purnima Ramaswamy, and Kavipriya Anandan. The Empower panel speakers dazzled us with their words of encouragement and how do we go beyond our barriers. Thanks to Ms. Barbara Salami, Dr. Anusha Ravi, Ms. Linda Kasoti, and Ms. Vidya Subramaniam. Our deep gratitude and thanks to all our sponsors, Usha Krishna Kumar, New York Life Insurance, Deepa Sudhakar, Kapi Reddy, Hema Velangani Raj, Keller William Real Estate Extend, and the Philadelphians cricket franchise, part of the Minor League Cricket USA. A special thanks to our moderators, Priya Karthik, Patricia Raj, Niveda Kanwar, Bridget Joseph, Uma Haynes, and Malini Das, and Divya Prasanna Kumar for entertaining us. We would like to thank the ATA leaders Ram Nagappan and Lena Kannappan for their guidance and support. Thanks to our ATA executive coordinators for the PADE chapter, Mr. Mahendran and Mr. Velangani Raj, without whose support this event would not even have started. Our gratitude and thanks to the ATA chapter coordinators, Ms. Ponnarasi Saktivelu and Mr. Prakash Narayan. And thanks to our core committee members, most of them burnt midnight oil to bring this event to us. Thank you so much, Hema Velangani Raj, Jayashree Chetty, Malini Das, Abhirami Mahendran, Josie Joseph, Jyotsna Khetar, Priscilla Rabin, and Vidya Santosh. And to our involvement and support from the youth committee members. They were a huge part, and I think Hema did mention, the enthusiasm that they had coming into these meetings was so contagious. Thank you, Patricia Raj, Bridget Joseph, Ananya Satyanarayana, Priscilla Raj, Netra Ramesh, Kamalika Shanmugasundram, Kritika Mahendran, and Meghna Satyanarayana. Thanks to all of you, especially to our viewers who have invested your valuable time to join us today. Good day and good evening to all viewers. Have a blessed day. Thank you.